आप नाम से ही यहाँ पर पता लगा सकते हैं कि इट इज एक्चुअली ग्रुप ऑफ 20। तो ये 20 क्या है? दे 20 आर डिफरेंट नेशंस अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड। तो ये दरअसल एक इंटर गवर्नमेंटल फोरम है। हम कई इस तरीके से फोरम्स और प्लेटफॉर्म्स के बारे में बात करते हैं। तो वन सच प्लेटफॉर्म और फोरम इज एक्चुअली G20, जहाँ पर 19 अलग अलग कंट्रीज और एक यूरोपियन यूनियन जो है वो पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं, डिस्कशंस और डिबेट वहां पर करते हैं। तो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट जो मेजर इश्यूज हमें G20 में इस इंटर गवर्नमेंटल फोरम में जो देखने को मिलते हैं वो ग्लोबल इकोनॉमी से रिलेटेड होते हैं ज्यादातर, जो कि इंटरनेशनल फाइनेंशियल स्टेबिलिटी से डील करते हैं, क्लाइमेट चेंज मिटिगेशन यानी कि क्लाइमेट चेंज और उससे रिलेटेड जो भी इंपॉर्टेंट से चीजें हैं उनके बारे में डिस्कशन करते हैं, और सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट का कॉन्सेप्ट जो कि हाल ही में बहुत ही प्रोमिनेंस ले चुका है, तो सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट के कॉन्सेप्ट पर यहाँ पर डिस्कशंस किए जाते हैं और चंद इंपॉर्टेंट से डिसीजंस भी लिए जाते हैं। आगे उनके बारे में पढ़ेंगे। तो सबसे पहले जानने की कोशिश करते हैं कि दरअसल ये ग्रुपिंग की जरूरत क्या पड़ गई थी। हम कई रीजनल ग्रुपिंग्स की भी बातें करते हैं, हम कई इंटरनेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशंस की भी बात करते हैं। तो G20 की जरूरत हमें कब महसूस हुई? तो जैसे कि आप सभी को पता है कि वर्ल्ड वॉर 1 और 2 ने हमारी वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमी को, इंटरनेशनल फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम को बहुत बुरी तरीके से मार दी हुई थी, और यूरोपियन कंट्रीज जो कि आज हेवीली इंडस्ट्रियलाइज्ड देखे जाते हैं, एट द टाइम ऑफ वर्ल्ड वॉर 2 बहुत ही मीगर हो चुके थे, बहुत ही मजबूत थे, बहुत ही वीक थे। तो ऐसी जरूरत हमें महसूस हो रही थी कि हमें एक वर्ल्ड क्लास इंस्टीट्यूशन बनाने की जरूरत थी, हमें चंद ऐसे इनिशिएटिव्स लेने की जरूरत थी जो कि इंटरनेशनल लेवल पर हमारे फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम को सही तौर पर मेंटेन कर सके, कोऑर्डिनेशन हमारी इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसी से रिलेटेड सही हो सके। और उससे रिलेटेड सबसे मेजर डिसीजन हम ऑलरेडी देखते हैं, विच इज ब्रिटेन वुड कॉन्फ्रेंस जो चला हुआ था 1944 में, जिसके रिजल्ट के सबब हम इंटरनेशनल मॉनेटरी फंड और वर्ल्ड बैंक जैसे इंस्टीट्यूशंस का एस्टेब्लिशमेंट देखते हैं। तो ऑन द सेम लाइन महज वर्ल्ड बैंक और इंटरनेशनल मॉनेटरी फंड का एस्टेब्लिशमेंट होना काफी नहीं था, इस तरीके के और भी कई वर्ल्ड क्लास इंस्टीट्यूशंस और इनिशिएटिव्स हमारे लिए बहुत ही जरूरी थे। तो उसी सच नीड में से बाहर आया हुआ एक कॉन्सेप्ट था द ग्रुपिंग ऑफ 20, इट इज G20। तो G7 जो थे वो नेशंस ऑलरेडी जो वन ऑफ द मोस्ट डेवलप्ड जो नेशंस थे 1970s में उन्होंने उनकी बैठक हुई थी, और G7 वहां से हमें एस्टेब्लिश होता हुआ देखने को मिलते हैं। मैं आपको आगे भी इसके बारे में थोड़ा बहुत बताऊंगा। तो G7 के इनिशिएटिव से जो है सबसे पहली बार हमें G20 का कॉन्सेप्ट देखने को मिलता है, खासकर ग्लोबल फाइनेंशियल क्राइसिस जब हो रहे थे 1990s में, और एशियन इकोनॉमीज जो थे वहां पर थोड़ा बहुत अच्छा खासा डेवलपमेंट दिखा रहे थे। तो यहाँ पर G7 नेशंस को पता चल गया कि अगर हमें वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक ऑर्डर को सही तौर पर मेंटेन करना है, हमारे फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम्स को अगर हमें सही तौर पर मेंटेन करना है, तो हमें जस्ट डेवलप्ड नेशंस नहीं, हमें डेवलपिंग और अंडर डेवलप्ड नेशंस को भी साथ लेकर चलना है। क्योंकि उस टाइम फ्रेम में एशियन कंट्रीज जो खासकर इंडिया, ब्राजील, इस तरीके के जो इवन साउथ अमेरिकन नेशंस भी जो थे वो बहुत ही प्रोमिनेंस दिखा रहे थे, वो डेवलपमेंट में बहुत ही आगे जा रहे थे। तो इस तरीके के नए नए मार्केट्स को भी साथ लेकर चलना बहुत ही जरूरी था। उन्हें इंपॉर्टेंस पता चल गया कि इस तरीके के जो नेशन से वो बहुत ही क्रूशियल हो सकते हैं। सो दिस एक्चुअली पेव्ड वे फॉर द फॉर्मल एस्टैब्लिशमेंट ऑफ G20 ग्रुपिंग। तो वहां पर कैनेडियन फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर पॉल मार्टिन साहब जो थे वो सबसे पहली बार चेयरमैन की तरह चूज किए गए थे फॉर दैट इनॉग्रल सेशन। लेकिन यहाँ पर एक खास बात ये थी कि 1999 में G20 का आइडिया जो पूरी तरीके से आता है, उसका एस्टेब्लिशमेंट भी होता है, लेकिन वो बहुत ही इरेगुलर था, यानी कि उसे पूरी तरीके से एक स्ट्रक्चरल और इंस्टीट्यूशनल फॉर्म उसे नहीं दिया गया था। तो सबसे दूसरा मेजर जो डिसीजन आता है एज फार एज एस्टेब्लिशमेंट ऑफ G20 इज कंसर्न, वो 2008 में आता है। अब सभी को पता है 2008 में पूरी दुनिया ग्लोबल फाइनेंशियल क्राइसिस से गुजर रही थी और खासकर यूएस जैसी कंट्री भी बहुत ही मजबूर थी इस फाइनेंशियल क्राइसिस से गुजरने के लिए। तो एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम वर्ल्ड लीडर्स को फिर से पता चल गया कि नहीं, और खासकर G20 लीडर्स को, कि वी आर द नेक्स्ट बिग थिंग इन दिस इकोनॉमी, इन दिस मार्केट। तो जाहिर सी बात है हमें साथ लेकर चलना पड़ेगा, हमें कंसेंसस बिल्ड करके ही, और हाईएस्ट पॉलिटिकल लेवल पर जब तक हम डिसीजंस नहीं लेंगे, हम एक इंटरनेशनल फाइनेंशियल ऑर्डर को सस्टेन और सर्वाइव नहीं कर सकते। तो यही वो मेजर डिसीजन था 2008 में, जहां पर G20 लीडर्स ने एक यूनाइट डिसीजन लिया हुआ था, ठान लिया हुआ था कि वो हर साल एनुअली मीट करेंगे इन समिट्स पे। तो इन ऑर्डर टू प्रिपेयर फॉर दिस समिट्स द G20 फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर्स एंड सेंट्रल बैंक गवर्नर्स कंटिन्यू टू मीट ऑन देयर ओन ट्वाइस अ ईयर। तो हर साल जो हाईएस्ट पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स होते हैं कंट्रीज के, यानी कि अगर किसी कंट्री में प्राइम मिनिस्टर है और किसी कंट्री में प्रेसिडेंट्स, तो वहां पर ईयरली एक समिट होता है। मैं वो समिट्स किस तरीके से होते हैं उसके बारे में बताऊंगा। तो सेपरेटली अपार्ट फ्रॉम दोज इंपॉर्टेंट समिट्स, हर साल जो है 2 बार फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर्स और सेंट्रल बैंक के गवर्नर्स उन रेस्पेक्टिव कंट्रीज के वो मिलते हैं, एजेंडास वगैरह वो डिस्कस करते हैं। तो यहाँ पर अगर आप देखेंगे होलिस्टिकली, आपको थोड़ा बहुत अच्छा खासा समझ में आ जाएगा कि किस तरीके से G20 का इजाद हुआ। तो यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हैं G7 जो कि उस टाइम फ्रेम में 1973-75 के आसपास ऑलरेडी वो डेवलप्ड थे। कनाडा, फ्रांस, जर्मनी, इटली, जापान, यूके और यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका। तो यहाँ पर ये फर्दर लेकर आगे जा रहे थे, इंटरनेशनली एक ऐसा इंस्टीट्यूशन बनाने का, एक ऐसा ऑर्डर बनाने का जो सर्वाइव और सस्टेन कर सके। और 1997 में रशिया को भी इसमें इंक्लूड किया गया था और इसे G8 का ग्रुपिंग दिया हुआ था। और फाइनली 1999 में हमें G20 का ग्रुपिंग देखने को मिलता है। तो आप यहाँ पर देख सकते हैं इन सभी कंट्रीज को कलेक्टिवली G20 का मेंबर कहा जाता है। तो अपार्ट फ्रॉम ऑल दीज G7 और G8 नेशंस, अर्जेंटीना, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, ब्राजील, चाइना, यूरोपियन यूनियन, इंडिया, इंडोनेशिया, मेक्सिको, सऊदी अरेबिया, साउथ अफ्रीका, साउथ कोरिया एंड टर्की आर एक्चुअली द G20 मेंबर्स। तो यूरोपियन यूनियन का भी रिप्रेजेंटेशन हमें यहाँ पर देखने को मिलता है, इसीलिए 19 कंट्रीज प्लस 1 यूरोपियन यूनियन, इन सभी को G20 का ग्रुपिंग कहा जाता है। तो देयर आर फ्यू परमानेंट गेस्ट इनवाइटीज भी जिन्हें रेगुलरली इसके समिट्स में बुलाया जाता है, क्योंकि यहाँ पर भी रिप्रेजेंटेशन बहुत ही जरूरी है। तो यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हैं अफ्रीकन यूनियन, एशिया, वन ऑफ द मोस्ट क्रूशियल वन अगेन साउथ ईस्ट एशिया में, तो उन्हें भी यहाँ पर एज अ परमानेंट गेस्ट इनवाइटी बुलाया जाता है। फाइनेंशियल स्टेबिलिटी बोर्ड, फूड एंड एग्रीकल्चर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, ILO, IMF, और खासकर स्पेन की खास बात है, स्पेन इकलौता ऐसा कंट्री है जो परमानेंट गेस्ट इनवाइटी की तरह G20 के समिट्स को हाजिर होता है, वहां पर रिप्रेजेंटेशन देता है। तो बाकी के भी आप देख सकते हैं, न्यू पार्टनरशिप फॉर अफ्रीकन डेवलपमेंट, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन फॉर इकोनॉमिक कोऑपरेशन एंड डेवलपमेंट, यूनाइटेड नेशंस, वर्ल्ड बैंक ग्रुप, WHO और वर्ल्ड ट्रेड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को भी यहाँ पर परमानेंट गेस्ट इनवाइटीज की तरह बुलाया जाता है। तो यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हैं कि कितना क्रूशियल G20 इनफॉर्मल या फिर G20 ये इंटर गवर्नमेंटल फोरम है। इसका सिग्निफिकेंस क्या है? अच्छी बात है सर, तो हमें इस तरीके के क्या बाकी के भी कंट्रीज या फिर इस तरीके के ग्रुपिंग्स नहीं है क्या? एशियान भी है, सार्क के भी बारे में हमने बात किया, ऐसे कई हैं। तो इसका सिग्निफिकेंस क्या है? G20 किस लिए एक प्रोमिनेंट प्लेस रखता है? तो G20 बहुत ही स्ट्रेटेजिक रोल प्ले करता है, खासकर हमारे ग्लोबल इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ और प्रॉस्पेरिटी को इंश्योर करने में, सिक्योर हमारी फ्यूचर बनाने में, खासकर एज फार एज आवर इकोनॉमिक स्ट्रेंथ इज कंसर्न। क्योंकि यहाँ पर आप आंकड़े अगर देखें तो G20 मेंबर्स जो जितने भी 19 कंट्रीज प्लस 1 यूरोपियन यूनियन है, वो सभी मिलाकर 60% ऑफ द वर्ल्ड पॉपुलेशन को रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं, 80% ऑफ द ग्लोबल GDP को वो रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं और 75% ऑफ ग्लोबल एक्सपोर्ट्स को वो इकलौते रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं। तो आप देख सकते हैं कि किस लिए G20 ग्रुपिंग इतना सिग्निफिकेंट है और पूरी दुनिया जो है वो रुकती है देखने के लिए कि G20 का मीटिंग क्या चल रहा है और वहां पर आउटकम क्या था, एजेंडा क्या था, डिस्कशंस क्या थे। क्योंकि वर्चुअली 2/3 ऑफ द वर्ल्ड का कहीं ना कहीं हम देख सकते हैं इंपॉर्टेंट जो पॉपुलेशन का रिप्रेजेंटेशन हो, ग्लोबल GDP का हो या फिर ग्लोबल एक्सपर्ट्स का हो, वो हमें इन G20 नेशन से ही देखने को मिलता है। और G20 काम किस तरीके से करता है? देखिए, प्रेसिडेंसी जो है वो हर साल रोटेट होती है अमंग ऑल द मेंबर्स। तो 19 जो कंट्रीज हैं और यूरोपियन यूनियन जो है उनके बीच ये प्रेसिडेंसी जो है वो इवॉल्व होती ही रहती है। और खासकर यहाँ पर आपको एक टर्म जानना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, दैट इज ट्रॉइका। Troika, with the country that holds the presidency working together with its predecessor and successor are also known as a Troika to ensure the continuity of the agenda. तो हर 3 साल के लिए जो है ऑलरेडी मेंबर्स को चूज किया जाता है, अलग अलग ग्रुपिंग्स होते हैं, मैं आपको उसके बारे में भी बताऊंगा। तो इस ट्रोइका को जो है वो मिलाकर 3 साल के प्रेसिडेंसीज दिए जाते हैं। अब मान लेते हैं कि करेंटली इटली, जिसने पिछले साल ही G20 समिट को होस्ट किया हुआ था 2021, अभी करेंटली 2022 इंडोनेशिया बाली में हो रहा है और 2023 इंडिया न्यू दिल्ली में जो है ये होस्ट होगा। तो इन 3 कंट्रीज को मिलाकर ट्रोइका कहा जाता है। तो एजेंडा जो G20 इटली में सेट करता है वो इंडोनेशिया और इंडिया में भी कंटिन्यू होता है। तो बाद इनके अगेन 3 ट्रोइकास को चूज किया जाता है जो कि फर्दर आगे नेक्स्ट 3 साल के लिए प्रेसिडेंसी होल्ड करेंगे और इंपॉर्टेंट से एजेंडास डिस्कस करेंगे। और G20 का कोई भी परमानेंट सेक्रेटेरिएट नहीं है। हम सार्क की बात करते हैं, एशियान की बात करते हैं, इन सभी के हेडक्वार्टर्स कहीं ना कहीं होते हैं, सेक्रेटेरिएट्स होती है। यहाँ पर परमानेंट सेक्रेटेरिएट नहीं होता, इसीलिए इसे बहुत ही यूनिक और डायनामिक माना जाता है कि जिस कंट्री में जो डिस्कशन होता है या फिर जिस कंट्री ने होस्ट किया हुआ होता है वहां पर नया सा सेक्रेटेरिएट बनाया जाता है, क्योंकि जहां पर वो एजेंडा जो डिस्कशंस किए गए हैं वो उसी कंट्री से ही इनिशिएट किए जाते हैं और वहीं से दे मेक श्योर दैट दे ऑल आर फुलफिल्ड। Agenda and the work coordination is completely by the G20 leaders' personal representatives known as शेरपास। तो हर कंट्री अपने अपने रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स को भेजती है चूज करके। तो इंडिया ने अपने शेरपा को जो है पीयूष गोयल साहब को चुनकर भेजा हुआ था एंड टुगेदर विद फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर्स एंड सेंट्रल बैंक गवर्नर्स। तो ये तीनों पोजीशंस बहुत ही क्रूशियल है। रिमेंबर, एक तो शेरपा जो कि रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं उस कंट्री को, ठीक है, वहां पर पर्सनल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स उस G20 लीडर्स के मान लेते हैं कि इंडिया में तो प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी जी है, तो उन्होंने अपना रिप्रेजेंट देने के लिए कहीं ना कहीं पीयूष गोयल साहब को भेजा हुआ है। एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर निर्मला सीतारमण जी और सेंट्रल बैंक गवर्नर, हमारे यहाँ तो आरबीआई है सेंट्रल बैंक, तो शक्तिकांता दास साहब। तो ये तीनों बहुत ही क्रूशियल होते हैं इस G20 के वर्क के लिए। तो इसी तरीके से 19 कंट्रीज और यूरोपियन यूनियन भी अपने इस तरीके के रिप्रेजेंटेशंस भेजता है। और प्रेसिडेंसी का सिलेक्शन कैसा होता है, अभी हमने देखा, अच्छी बात है, ट्रोइका है, हर 3 साल एजेंडा चेंज होते हैं, कंटिन्यूटी के लिए भी अच्छी बात है, लेकिन सिलेक्ट किस तरीके से होते हैं। तो 19 कंट्रीज जो पूरे हैं ना, उन सभी को 5 अलग अलग ग्रुपिंग्स में डिवाइड किया गया है। ऑफ कोर्स यूरोपियन यूनियन जो है वो रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ सेपरेट कंट्रीज है, तो उसे किसी ग्रुपिंग में नहीं रखा गया है। तो ईच हैविंग नो मोर देन 4 कंट्रीज, द प्रेसिडेंसी रोटेट्स बिटवीन ईच ग्रुप एवरी ईयर। द G20 सेलेक्ट्स अ कंट्री फ्रॉम अनदर ग्रुप टू बी प्रेसिडेंट। तो यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हैं 5 अलग अलग ग्रुपिंग अलग अलग रीजन्स को रिप्रेजेंट करते हुए आपको देखे जाएंगे। तो हर ग्रुप में से, अलग अलग ग्रुप में से एक कैंडिडेट को पिक किया जाता है ताकि वो क्युमुलेटिवली 1 साल के बाद प्रेसिडेंसी चूज की जाए। तो आप देख सकते हैं इंडिया जो है वो ग्रुप 2 का हिस्सा है। तो इस तरीके से इन 5 अलग अलग ग्रुपिंग्स में से, कंट्रीज में से चुने जाते हैं, यानी कि वही कुछ चुनते हैं, ऐसा नहीं कि कोई सेपरेट प्रोसेस है, वही कंट्रीज ही चुनते हैं अपने बीच में से कि कौन जो है वो नेक्स्ट रिप्रेजेंटेशन देगा। तो अब तक जो है जो जितने भी इंपॉर्टेंट से G20 समिट्स हैं उन सभी के बारे में हम थोड़ा बहुत देखते हैं। तो सबसे पहला, जैसे कि आप सभी को पता है, वॉशिंगटन डीसी में हुआ था, यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका, फॉलोड बाय यूके लंदन, एंड देन थर्ड समिट जो था वो अगेन यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स पिट्सबर्ग में हुआ था, फोर्थ कनाडा टोरंटो में हुआ था, फिफ्थ समिट जो था वो साउथ कोरिया सियोल में हुआ था, सिक्स्थ फ्रांस कैनिस, 7th मेक्सिको में था और 8th रशिया सेंट पीटर्सबर्ग में हुआ था, 9th ऑस्ट्रेलिया ब्रिस्बेन, 10th टर्की में हुआ था और 11th जो था वो चाइना ग्वांगझो में हुआ था, 12th G20 समिट जर्मनी में था और 13th G20 समिट अर्जेंटीना में था, 14th जापान ओसाका में था, 15th सऊदी अरेबिया रियाद में था और 16th इटली रोम में हुआ था हाल ही में ही। तो हर G20 समिट में कहीं ना कहीं कोई ना कोई इंपॉर्टेंट से डिक्लेरेशंस और डिसीजंस लिए ही गए थे। तो बहुत ही क्रूशियल हैं ये सभी समिट्स। तो अभी एज ऑफ नो 2022 के लिए जो कि 17th समिट चलने वाला है वो इंडोनेशिया होस्ट कर रहा है करेंटली, विच इज इन बाली। तो 2023 के लिए जो कि इंडिया जो है जिसने होस्टशिप एक्ट की हुई है, तो वो मोस्ट प्रॉब्ली न्यू दिल्ली में हो सकता है। तो इससे रिलेटेड अभी जैसे कि मैंने वीडियो के पहले में आपको कहा कि हाल ही में ही कैबिनेट के इंपॉर्टेंट से डिसीजंस लिए गए थे कि सेक्रेटेरिएट कहां पर होगा, कौन कौन क्या क्या रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज लेगा, वो सभी एलोकेट और असाइन किए गए हैं 2023 के लिए। और 2024 के लिए भी एक्सपेक्टेड है ब्राजील। अभी कुछ फुल फ्लेज कहा नहीं गया है क्योंकि जैसे कि मैंने कहा कि ट्रोइका यहाँ पर तीन कंट्रीज जो मिलकर काम करते हैं। तो 19th समिट जो है वो एक्सपेक्टेड 2024 ब्राजील कर सकता है और 2025 के लिए साउथ अफ्रीका कर सकता है। एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम द लीडर लेवल, हाईएस्ट लेवल जो कि समिट्स ऑलरेडी चलते हैं जहां पर कंट्रीज के प्रेसिडेंट्स या प्राइम मिनिस्टर जाते हैं, अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट मिनिस्ट्रियल लेवल मीटिंग्स भी यहाँ पर होते हैं। तो 1999 में सबसे पहली बार फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर्स एंड सेंट्रल बैंक गवर्नर्स की मीटिंग स्टार्ट हुई थी। ऑफ कोर्स सबसे पहला स्पार्क यहीं से आता है क्योंकि हाईएस्ट पॉलिटिकल लेवल मीटिंग जो शुरू हुए थे वो 2008 से हुए थे रेगुलरली। तो 1999 से ही फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर्स और सेंट्रल बैंक गवर्नर्स के मीटिंग स्टार्ट हुए थे, मिनिस्ट्रियल लेवल मीटिंग्स। 2010 में से और थोड़ा एक्सपेंड करके लेबर और एम्प्लॉयमेंट मिनिस्टर्स के भी मीटिंग्स रखे गए थे G20 कंट्रीज के। 2017 में फॉरेन मिनिस्टर्स लेवल मीटिंग्स भी रखे गए थे और 2012 से ट्रेड मिनिस्टर्स या फिर कॉमर्स मिनिस्टर्स जो होते हैं उनसे रिलेटेड भी G20 मिनिस्ट्रियल लेवल मीटिंग्स रखे गए थे और सिंस देन कंटिन्यूअसली वो चलते ही रहे हैं और चंद इंपॉर्टेंट से डिस्कशंस वहां पर भी होते रहे हैं। And apart from all these ministerial level meetings and apart from all these highest political level meetings, G20 engagement groups भी मेंटेन करता है। आप यहाँ पर देख सकते हैं कि बिजनेस ग्रुप्स को, बिजनेस इंटरेस्ट ग्रुप्स को रिप्रेजेंट करने के लिए भी जो है वो B20 ग्रुप बनाया गया था। ठीक है, 2008 में से स्टैब्लिश किया गया था और 2010 में से रिकॉग्नाइजेशन मिला हुआ था। तो लेबर से रिलेटेड भी ट्रेड यूनियंस और अदर एम्प्लॉइज रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स, यानी कि यहाँ पर इन 20 कंट्रीज या फिर इन 19 कंट्रीज और यूरोपियन यूनियन के जो रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स हैं बिजनेस के, वो वहां पर एंगेजमेंट ग्रुप्स की तरह वहां पर आते हैं। सिमिलरली यहाँ पर भी सेशंस और समिट्स चलते हैं। तो यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हैं L20 जो था वो 2008 में फाउंड किया गया था और उसे रिकॉग्नाइजेशन 2011 में मिला था। C20 दैट इज सिविल सोसाइटी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, जो एनजीओस होते हैं 20 कंट्रीज में, उनके लिए भी एक फोरम बनाया गया था, फिर एक एंगेजमेंट ग्रुप जो कि 2013 में इसे रिकॉग्नाइजेशन मिला हुआ था। यूथ के रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स के लिए भी वही 20 एंगेजमेंट ग्रुप बनाया गया था। थिंक टैंक्स, जो ग्लोबल थिंक टैंक्स होते हैं खासकर हमारे G20 कंट्रीज के, उनके लिए भी एक एंगेजमेंट ग्रुप बनाया गया था। वुमेन, खासकर वुमेन के रिप्रेजेंटेशन के लिए, वुमेन राइट्स ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के लिए भी जो है 2015 में W20 एंगेजमेंट ग्रुप एस्टैब्लिश किया गया था। S20 फॉर साइंस एंड रिसर्च रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स एंड फाइनली U20 फॉर अर्बन रिप्रेजेंटेशंस, जो कि मेयर्स और गवर्नर्स होते हैं मेजर अर्बन सिटीज के। G20 में जितने भी मेजर बड़े बड़े अर्बन सिटीज हैं उन सभी के गवर्नर्स और मेयर्स के रिप्रेजेंटेशन के लिए वहां पर एंगेजमेंट के लिए G20 एंगेजमेंट ग्रुप्स बनाए गए। तो आप देख सकते हैं कि किस लिए G20 इतना सिग्निफिकेंट माना जाता है। और फिर हम एक बार देखते हैं कि इसका सिग्निफिकेंस क्या है, किस किस तरीके से ये काम करने की कोशिश करता है, क्यों ये सबसे हटकर है। स्ट्रेंथनिंग फाइनेंशियल रेगुलेशंस, ऑफ कोर्स 75% ग्लोबल एक्सपोर्ट्स हम देख सकते हैं। अच्छा खासा जीडीपी का रिप्रेजेंटेशन दुनिया का यहाँ पर देखने को मिलता है। तो फाइनेंशियल रेगुलेशंस को ज्यादा से ज्यादा हम स्ट्रेंथन कर सकते हैं इनकी मदद से। कोऑर्डिनेटेड फिजिकल एंड मॉनिटरी स्टिमुलस, मैंने आपको कई बार कहा कि फिजिकल जब वर्ड है इट इज रिलेटेड विद फाइनेंस मिनिस्ट्री, और मॉनिटरी जब वर्ड है तो इट इज रिलेटेड विद सेंट्रल बैंक और आरबीआई। तो यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हैं कि कंट्री में भी, इंडिविजुअल कंट्री में भी जो टैंडम होता है, जो फिजिकल फाइनेंस मिनिस्ट्री और जो उसकी सेंट्रल बैंक के बीच, वो भी कोऑर्डिनेट हो, सही तौर पर उसका स्टिमुलस भी आगे बढ़ता रहे। क्योंकि यहाँ पर जो मेजर डिसीजंस लिए जाते हैं वो इंडिविजुअल लेवल पर कंट्रीज में ही तो उन्हें फुलफिल किया जाता है। और सबसे अच्छी बात G20 की यह है कि ये फ्लेक्सिबल है और इंक्लूसिव है। नो डाउट हर साल प्रेसिडेंसी अलग अलग कंट्रीज के पास जाती है, हर 3 साल में एक बार एजेंडा चेंज किए जाते हैं। तो बहुत अच्छी फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी और सभी का इंक्लूसिवनेस भी हमें यहाँ पर देखने को मिलता है, क्योंकि जो कंट्री होस्ट करता है वहीं पर सेक्रेटेरिएट बनाया जाता है और वहीं पर से जो इंपॉर्टेंट डिसीजन वहां पर लिए गए हैं वहीं से उसका काम शुरू होता है। लेंडिंग में भी बहुत ही जबरदस्त इंक्रीज हुआ है, क्योंकि सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट टारगेट जो G20 के कंट्रीज ने रखा हुआ था वो इंटरनेशनल फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस को रिस्ट्रक्चर ही करना था। यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हैं रिफॉर्म्स भी लाए गए थे, IMF, वर्ल्ड बैंक जैसे इंपॉर्टेंट इंस्टीट्यूशंस में भी। डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज को भी बहुत ही जबरदस्त सा स्कोप मिला हुआ था यहाँ पर लेंडिंग्स वगैरह के लिए भी, ताकि वो भी आगे बढ़ सके। ट्रेड फैसिलिटेशन अग्रीमेंट्स कई साइन किए गए, क्योंकि G20 कंट्रीज जब समिट्स में मिलते हैं तो वहां पर हम देख सकते हैं इंडिविजुअल कंट्रीज भी एक दूसरे के साथ ट्रेड फैसिलिटेशन अग्रीमेंट्स भी साइन कर सकते हैं। तो ओवरऑल ट्रेड और इकोनॉमिक इन्फ्लुएंस भी बहुत जबरदस्त सा होता है। एंड द वन मोर इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज इट इज टू बिग टू फेल। अभी हमने जितने भी आंकड़े ऊपर देखे हुए थे, 60% ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन रिप्रेजेंट करता है, इंपोर्ट्स और एक्सपोर्ट्स इसके किस तरीके से, तो ये बहुत ही बड़ा है फेल होने के लिए, यानी कि दैट वेरी ह्यूजनेस इटसेल्फ इज मोर देन इनफ कि ये रेसिलिएंट एक ग्लोबल प्लेटफॉर्म है या फिर एक रेसिलिएंट इंटर गवर्नमेंटल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है कहने के लिए। और चंद इंपॉर्टेंट से इश्यूज जो अब तक G20 ने एड्रेस किए हुए थे, फाइनेंशियल मार्केट से रिलेटेड चंद इंपॉर्टेंट से डिसीजंस लिए गए थे, टैक्स और फिस्कल पॉलिसी से रिलेटेड भी इंपॉर्टेंट डिसीजंस लिए गए थे, ट्रेड, एग्रीकल्चर, एम्प्लॉयमेंट, एनर्जी, करप्शन, वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट, एजेंडा 2030, सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंटल गोल्स जिन्हें हम कहते हैं, क्लाइमेट चेंज, ग्लोबल हेल्थ और एंटी टेररिज्म पर भी मेजर इश्यूज जो थे उन सभी के बारे में G20 के अलग अलग समिट्स में हमने डिस्कशन देखे हुए थे। और सिंस कोविड तो ग्लोबल हेल्थ तो बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट सा रोल प्ले कर रहा है। और इंडिया जो कि 2023 का होस्ट होने वाला है, तो कौन से प्रायोरिटी के एरियाज हम देख सकते हैं जो कि इंडिया ने ऑलरेडी डिसाइड किया हुआ, या फिर इंडिया इन पर फोकस जरूर कर सकता है। टैक्स एवेशन से रिलेटेड इश्यूज हम हाईलाइट यहाँ पर कर सकते हैं। एक कंट्री से दूसरे कंट्रीज में टैक्स एवेशन बहुत ही हमें ज्यादा देखने को मिलता है। फाइट अगेंस्ट करप्शन के खिलाफ भी हम आवाज उठा सकते हैं। और तीसरा सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट जो कि हर जगह पर सिंस प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी जी हैज कम, इन्होंने बहुत ही कोशिश की हुई है ग्लोबल प्लेटफॉर्म पर इस इशू को लाने की, दैट इज टेरर फंडिंग एंड स्टेट स्पॉन्सर्ड टेररिज्म, क्योंकि इंडिया खुद प्रॉब्लम फेस कर चुका है इससे, तो ये भी हमारे लिए एक अच्छा कॉन्सेप्ट हो सकता है यहाँ पर हाईलाइट करने के लिए। कटिंग द कॉस्ट ऑफ रेमिटेंसेस, ऑफ कोर्स वन ऑफ द मोस्ट मेजर माइग्रेंट्स जो हमें देखने को मिलते हैं। ऑफ कोर्स ये कहावत भी है कि पूरी दुनिया में आपको हर कोने में कहीं ना कहीं एक चाइनीज और एक इंडियन देखने को मिलेंगे, तो जाहिर सी बात है कि ग्लोबल रेमिटेंस से रिलेटेड भी हम थोड़ा बहुत कॉस्ट कट करवा सकते हैं। और फार्मास्यूटिकल इंडस्ट्री भी हमारी टैप करने का यहाँ पर बहुत ही सुनहरा मौका है। हमें की ड्रग्स पर हम मार्केट एक्सेस के लिए भी बात कर सकते हैं। रिफॉर्म्स इन इंटरनेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशंस, ऑफ कोर्स ये तो एक्टिवली ऑलरेडी चल रहा है, लेकिन फिर भी हम ब्रिक्स का भी हिस्सा है, तो वहां पर न्यू डेवलपमेंट बैंक हम देख सकते हैं। तो इस तरीके से नए नए बैंकिंग फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस और ऑलरेडी जो इंटरनेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशंस चल रहे हैं उन पर भी हम रिफॉर्म्स लाने की बात कर सकते हैं। और सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट सी चीज, रियल एक्शन ऑन क्लाइमेट चेंज। तो जितने भी कॉन्फ्रेंस ऑफ पार्टीज चलते हैं UNFCCC के, वहां पर बड़ी बड़ी प्रोमिसेस जरूर किए जाते हैं, लेकिन रियल एक्शन वहां पर नहीं होता। तो इंडिया ने भी ऑफ कोर्स हाल ही में जो कॉन्फ्रेंस ऑफ पार्टीज 26 ग्लासगो में हुआ था, वहां पर प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी जी ने 5 प्लेजेस दिए हुए थे। तो हम इस तरीके के इश्यूज भी वहां पर हाईलाइट कर सकते हैं कि वी डोंट नीड द टॉक, वी नीड द वॉक। चैलेंजेस क्या क्या है ओवरऑल G20 ग्रुपिंग में अगर हम बात कर सके? नो एनफोर्समेंट मैकेनिज्म, बिल्कुल यहाँ पर हम डिस्कशंस तो जरूर चलाते हैं, लेकिन उसे एनफोर्स किस तरीके से करेंगे ये मैकेनिज्म हमने अब तक नहीं बनाया G20 में। नॉट लीगली बाइंडिंग, आज के जमाने में जितने भी इंपॉर्टेंट ग्रुपिंग्स, इंपॉर्टेंट इंटर गवर्नमेंटल फॉरम्स, प्लेटफॉर्म्स हम देखते हैं, सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम जो वो फेस करते हैं इज एक्चुअली द वॉलेंटरी नेचर ऑफ देयर अग्रीमेंट्स। वहां पर अग्रीमेंट्स तो साइन किए जाते हैं, बड़े बड़े बातें तो वहां पर की जाती है, लेकिन वो लीगली बाइंडिंग नहीं होती, यानी कि वो रिकमेंडेटरी नेचर पर होती हैं। तो ये नहीं होना चाहिए मोस्टली। ग्लोबल हेल्थ को सिक्योर करना, ऑफ कोर्स पोस्ट कोविड तो सबसे बड़ा हर्डल अगर नॉट जस्ट G20 दुनिया के आगे अगर कुछ था तो वो ग्लोबल हेल्थ को सिक्योर करना था। रीफ्यूलिंग और फ्यूलिंग इकोनॉमिक रिकवरी, एंड ऑफ कोर्स पोस्ट कोविड जो कि कंटिन्यूस लॉकडाउन वगैरह पड़ रहे थे, तो इकोनॉमिक रिकवरी जैसे कि रिसिलियंट इकोनॉमी की हम बात करते हैं कि जितनी मांग से बढ़ेगी उतना ही ज्यादा और उतना ही जल्दी वो बाउंस बैक करेगा। तो इस तरीके की इकोनॉमिक रिकवरी के बारे में क्या सोचेगा G20? डिजिटल रेवोल्यूशन की हम बात करते हैं, ऑफ कोर्स थोड़ा वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज में अच्छी बात है कि वहां पर इंटरनेट कनेक्शन हो या फिर डिजिटल लिटरेसी ज्यादा हो, लेकिन जब हम ईस्टर्न हेमिस्फीयर की ज्यादातर जब हम बात करते हैं, क्योंकि इस ग्रुपिंग में हम इंडिया, सऊदी अरेबिया, इस तरीके की कंट्रीज भी देखते हैं, तो वहां पर डिजिटल रेवोल्यूशन हम कैसे लाएंगे? क्लाइमेट चेंज रिस्क सबसे बड़ा एज ऑफ नाउ। अभी हाल ही में भी इंटर गवर्नमेंटल पैनल ऑन क्लाइमेट चेंज के रिपोर्ट्स भी आए हुए थे, तो उसे किस तरीके से डील करेगा, ये वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट चैलेंजेस है। इसके आगे प्लास्टिक से रिलेटेड भी हम मुहिम चला रहे हैं, तो लेट अस वेट एंड वॉच। और ग्लोबल फ्रेमवर्क फॉर टैक्स रिफॉर्म्स स्पेसिफिकली, जो कि अभी हमने देखा कि टैक्स एवेशन जैसे प्रॉब्लम्स भी हम फेस कर रहे हैं, तो ग्लोबल फ्रेमवर्क की बहुत ही जरूरत है टैक्स रिफॉर्म्स के लिए, जो यूनानिमसली ये सभी G20 कंट्रीज एक्सेप्ट करेंगे और ये लीगली बाइंडिंग होनी चाहिए। तो वे अहेड क्या हो सकता है इसका? टिल नाउ अगर सच बताएं तो G20 व्हेन कंपेयर्ड विद अदर रीजनल ग्रुपिंग्स या फिर अदर इंटर गवर्नमेंटल फोरम्स बहुत ही सही ट्रैक पर जा रहा है। कंसिस्टेंसी वो मेंटेन कर रहा है, क्योंकि बाकी अभी सार्क के बारे में भी हमने एक वीडियो बनाया हुआ, अगर आपने नहीं देखा तो आप एक बार जाकर जरूर देखें। तो वहां पर भी हमने देखा कंसिस्टेंसी ही नहीं थी वहां पर। तो इस तरीके का काम G20 में हमें नहीं देखने को मिल रहा है। कंसिस्टेंसी वो लोग मेंटेन कर रहे हैं और इंपॉर्टेंट से डिसीजंस ले रहे हैं, और इंपॉर्टेंट डिसीजंस ले भी रहे हैं इवन दो दे माइट नॉट बी लीगली बाइंडिंग, लेकिन ज्यादा से ज्यादा वो फॉलो करने की कोशिश भी कर रहे हैं। दूसरा सबसे मोर इंपॉर्टेंट वे अहेड जो होगा, स्टडी ऑफ चेंजिंग डिमांड फॉर स्किल्स। ऑफ कोर्स स्किल्स हैव बीन वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट फॉर डिस्कशन एंड डिबेट। इंडिया जैसा एक कंट्री जो कि सेकंड टॉप मोस्ट पॉपुलेटेड कंट्री है, लेकिन वहां पर स्किल के लेवल्स बहुत ही कम है। लगभग 40 से 45% के आसपास ही है जिनके पास एडिक्वेट स्किल है एम्प्लॉयमेंट के लिए। तो G20 नेशंस किस तरीके से इस पर काम करेगा, मोस्टली दिस कैन बी द नेक्स्ट वे अहेड। और टेक्नोलॉजिकल इनोवेशंस पर थोड़ा बहुत फोकस करेंगे तो बहुत ही अच्छा हो सकता है। इंडस्ट्री में इनोवेशन के लिए खासकर जो है पॉलिसीज वो बना सकते हैं, और इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी राइट से रिलेटेड भी चंद इंपॉर्टेंट से डिस्कशंस करेंगे तो बहुत ही अच्छा होगा। और रीडिफाइन करने की हमें जरूरत है कि एरिना क्या क्या होंगे कोऑपरेशन के। ऑफ कोर्स हमने देखा कि अंडर द अर्थ जो कुछ भी मिल रहा है वो सभी के बारे में डिस्कस कर रहे हैं। हाँ, माना कि G20 एक फाइनेंस रिलेटेड, एक टैक्सेशन रिलेटेड, इस तरीके से इकोनॉमी से रिलेटेड है, लेकिन यहाँ पर क्लाइमेट चेंज की भी हम बात कर रहे हैं, यहाँ पर हम ग्लोबल हेल्थ की भी वगैरह की भी बात कर रहे हैं। तो रीडिफाइन करने की जरूरत है कि एरिनास क्या क्या होंगे कोऑपरेशन के और किस तरीके से होंगे। और सबसे आखिर में जो सबसे कंसोलिडेटेड एक वे अहेड जो G20 के लिए जो देखने को मिलता है, दैट इज लेस टॉक एंड मोर एक्शन। रेगुलरली वो मिल जरूर रहे हैं, एजेंडा सेट कर रहे हैं, रेगुलरली फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर्स वगैरह की भी मीटिंग हो रही है, लेकिन एक्शन कितना हुआ है उस पर, लीगली बाइंडिंग एग्रीमेंट्स क्यों नहीं हो रहे हैं। तो ये थी चंद बातें आपको जाननी थी ग्रुप ऑफ 20 या फिर G20 इंटर गवर्नमेंटल ग्रुपिंग के बारे में।
Well, it gives us immense pleasure to join you all once again on this platform of G20. And as we all know, every Sunday it's 2 p.m. That means we are going to get together to share our best practices and definitely collaborate with each other to take it forward our rationale. And what is our rationale? To work together in liaison with the G20 goals. And coming to G20, as we all know, this is one of the 7th sessions that we have. Then, what is this G20 is all about? G20 is a group of 20, an intergovernmental forum comprising of 19 countries and the EU, that is European Union, and it works to address the major issues related to the purpose of being together and systematically important on materializing and realizing the global economy, such as international financial stability, climatic change and mitigation, and sustainable development. So these are the main goals that the G20 Forum work for. And which are the countries which are together in it? That is, we have G20 is a group of 20 countries. Along with India, which are the countries which are there for that? Is Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, European Union, France, Germany, India, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, South Korea, Turkey, UK, and USA. The G20 countries together represent around 90% of global GDP and 80% of the global trade and 2/3 of the world's population. Now, what are these countries going to do together, and what is the main objective of it? Is that we are going to work together to enhance the global economy and to bring financial stability and climatic change and mitigation, and work for the sustainable development. And moving ahead, why are we talking about G20? That's the focus of it. When India is every year the presidency of the G20 countries, it changes. And for this year, 2023, that is starting from December 2022 to the next year, November 2023, India has been given the presidency for conducting this G20 forum. So enhancing the plans, to bring out plans for economic stability of the global economic stability, such that India is going to conduct the global G20 forum in the month of November 2023, for which many arrangements have been taken place, many forums have taken place, many chat shows, talk shows have been taken place, many reforms have taken place, such that we will be able to contribute to that. Moving ahead, when we have this idea of G20, when we came up with this idea of G20, as we know, coming to SDG International, India International Club and G20 International Club, we work together for the sake of community, coming up with different projects. One of our previous projects that we worked was the Sustainable Developmental Goals of UNESCO. All the 17 Sustainable Developmental Goals of UNESCO that we discussed, and we were able to generate resolutions, and we were able to take them take it forward through Dr. Kumar Srividhya, who is the mentor for the whole group, and under his leadership and tutelage, we were able to take it forward to the respective organizations. Well, coming to G20 now, G20 forum, we had come up with a planner or a plenary. For that, we had started working from the month of February, and our plan of cycle one goes till May 2023. It was a plan that we had that we started with under the able guidance of Dr. Srividhya ji. We developed a plenary for cycle one, which started in the month of February to May 2023. And these are the topics that we have covered so far. Today we are in digitalization and innovation. So we have covered all these topics on every Sunday with all your support. Thank you so much for extending such a valuable support. And the first topic that we took was Education 360. During the session, we had a discussion about inclusive, equitable, relevant, quality education, which create lifelong learning opportunities for all. The second session, which was dedicated to women empowerment, where our presidency was a paradigm shift from women development to women-led development. And for that, we had our distinguished special guest from UAE, Her Excellency Laila Rahal Al-Atwani, and she was a goodwill ambassador, and she is the founder of CEO Business Gate UAE. She participated in the session and she led the session for us. Thank you so much, ma'am. And the third session that we dedicated for the youth empowerment, where our presidency talked about global youth leadership and partnership. Eminent speakers who came and talked about the leading to change in case of future of work industry 4.0, that is industrial revolution, such that we will have to work on innovation in 21st century skills and also sustainability as way of life and youth in democracy and governance, ushering for a new era of new world. Moving ahead, following up with that previous session, we dedicated for the STEM and STEM through the stream that coined the team. So our presidency talked about skilled workforce for strong, sustainable health and balanced growth, where we were talking about sustaining robust training policies and systems, a strategic framework of skill development, innovation in 21st century skills, diversity realities of common and different challenges that were faced in the field, and also about the future of work, that is investing on the workforce skills, and finally relating everything to the art of living that sync with the nature. So moving ahead, for this session we had eminent personalities who came and spoke about the objectives. And moving ahead, our next session was dedicated to entrepreneurship and MSME. When it comes to the entrepreneurship and MSME, our presidency was modernizing and strengthening the industrial units to make them globally competitive. So we had different projects which were working on the development of micro and small and medium scale industries, attract investment to uplift industrial and social economy, create an industry-friendly atmosphere and suitable policies for the development of the industries, creation of conducive atmosphere for the industries to enable them to compete at the national and international levels, creation of job opportunities for the self-employment schemes, creation of basic infrastructure for industrial development, and revival of very sick and closed industrial units. And industrialization is the key to the growth of the global economy. So, again, we had eminent personalities from UAE and in India participated in the session, and they contributed to the session. Moving ahead, the next session was dedicated for the energy resources and source of sustainability and employability, where the presidency had its efficient, sustainable use of natural resources with 3 R's, that is RE dialogue. For this session, we had His Excellency Dr. Muhammad Saeed Al-Kindi, former Minister of Environment and Water, participated in the session, and with him, Engineer Madam Alia Kindi was also part of it. It was again a wonderful session which talked about using of the resources for its obtaining. Moving ahead, the next session was dedicated to agriculture and food safety, where our presidency was on the global view of GVC patterns, opportunities, and role of policy. When it comes to the GVC pattern, we talked about organic farming, and also the new scientific methods which has evolved in the GVC. So we had the Chief Guest, Mr. K.C. Bansal, Secretary of National Academy of Natural Sciences, who honored the whole session with Mr. Duriraj, President of ICCOA, And there were other eminent personalities who joined the session and made it very successful. Now, today we have gathered here yet another for one more session, which is on digitalization and innovation, where our presidency is going to talk about NPR, that is National Production Revolution, which is going to talk about digital competence, where we are going to discuss about new materials and the next production revolution, the diffusion of the national production technologies and what can government do for it, developing foresight about the future production and what can government do for it, productivity, raising technologies benefit the economy. That's very, very important. Where the NPR project has a technology focus. We are going to even touch some areas of bioproduction and industrial biotechnology, 3D printing production and the environment, nanotechnology, an enabler to the next production revolution, and the digital technologies and the future of production. So, with that, we open the forum to today's session of G20, which is going to talk about innovation and entrepreneurship. We are going to relate it to entrepreneurship. Why? Because we are going to talk about global economy, how it is going to influence global economy. On that note, I would open the forum of today. I would welcome Dr. Sukumar ji to take the lead. Thank you, sir. Over to you, Dr. Sukumar ji.
Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to all of you. I welcome all of you on this international platform, our international standards. As you know, we are living in a very advanced technology. We are living in the era of digitalization, innovation, research, startups, and all these things. As if you see from your childhood to this time, you see there is lot of changes in the world, lot of changes in the lifestyle, lot of changes in our psychology, our sociology, and whatever the happiness is all same. Our requirements, desire are all same. Only thing is that the methods of taking such materialistic and non-materialistic, it is changeable, and this changeable is now very good for our survival, and for our survival the innovation that we call as the change in the whatever the substance we have. So if it is useful for the society, then it is called innovation, and if it is not useful for the society, then it is wastage. So whatever we want to do, it is we want a very fast, we want the luxury, we want the whatever we can say that save in time, and also we want to enjoy more. And similarly, we have today the work is more as the lifestyle is changed. So the digitalization is very important. And with respect to the digitalization, everyone should know about it. However, it is very much important for the we can say for the children's, and it is double important, very much important for the women, because you know the women literacy and women whatever we can say in terms of the understanding in both the cases. So we have to improve our women's, we have to improve our children's in this digitalization. However, most of the women who are working continuously know that is what is the changing in the world, and those who are updates, they are performing very well. And in each house, in each we can say family, now women knows how to handle the mobile. So through that mobile, they are getting the knowledge of what is the world. And similarly, if we use the this mobile communication, this internet technology, IoT, artificial intelligence, machine-to-machine learning, robotics, and similarly sensor technology, telecommunication, 5G, 6G, 7G, like that. So our women will become very much, we can say, the improved, and they will get the good knowledge. And similarly, the next generation, whatever the generation will give, is coming from the birth and from the women, and so that what that generation will also get the digitalization and innovation. And it is and today we are seeing that through a digitalization, the birth of a we can say a children is very much is very much simple. So, however, the digitalization and innovations are important. Our research innovation startup university is working for all international R&D now, working for the that if you want to do anything, then come on a chat box that you can become our partner and throughout the world you can work. And now we are making our charts, we are making our future activities, and you can become the partner of that activities. So I welcome all of you that through happiness, we have Happiness Club in the international. You know, the leadership is very important to groom the world, to give the chance to the world, to give the direction to the world. So to give the mentoring to the world, the leadership is very important. So we our research innovation startup university has the slogan that is the right direction, right mentoring, and sustainable development goal. So we have as SDG has 18 goals, but we have 1800 goals, or we can have 18,000 goals. Because if you want to develop the universe, if you want to develop the global issues, then we must have a collaborative work. We must have the goals, vision, and mission. So whatever the vision and mission you have, whatever you want to do, come collaborate to us and give the good happiness and prosperous life to all of the world, all of the society, all of the each and every part of the world. That's why on each on flyer or a poster, we are saying that make the world, make your career with every corners of the world. So with every corners of the world, your future is bright, your future is very good. So come, we have the above 10,000 of industry associated, we have above 1 lakh of industry associated in all over the world, and we have so much collaborated with universities, institutes, schools, similarly skilled government, non-government organizations. So we have lot of work. We have a lot of infrastructure. Only we want a good team and the dedicated team who want to work. So, not taking so much time, welcome all. We have SDG Club India International, which is working efficiently. We have a good team who are working regularly with yourself for your sake of your whatever the prosperity, peace, career, and all of it. So thank you all of you. Thank you. Dr. Srividhya Madam, Dr. Poonam Gothi Madam, Dr. Hanifuddin Madam, similarly the moderators and all viewers, listeners, audience, and all our special guest speakers, keynote speakers. And I would like to say that whatever you want to speak, please speak. But whatever you want to do, whatever your vision and mission and actual work, our speakers, I am saying that please put your WhatsApp number and email in a chat box. Please put your WhatsApp number and email in chat box so that we can work together, and whatever your field, we want to collaborate for your field. And whatever you want to speak here, so the speaking should be such that we want to do some actual work. So because in this international level, everything knows what is the theory, but what we want to do, because you have all the diversified field, and we are working in all field. We have 1,000 of experts above it, and similarly we can say 5,000 of experts we can arrange for your work. So come and collaborate with each other, actively part each other, and please put your chat, your mobile number or email in chat box so that our team will get in touch with you very soon. So thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you, Vijay Kumar Saryaji. Thank you for those kind words of introduction and about R&D Creativity University, and also about all our projects that we have been handling in and around across India and across the globe. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we have got one more person to introduce from our team. Is Engineer Chandra Prakash ji. Chandra Prakash ji, please kindly introduce yourself and you can speak about G20, what are our projects that we have discussed so far, and you can welcome the cabinet. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Myself, Chandra Prakash. I'm a business consultant doing consultancy in the international hemisphere, and I'm board member with Ministry of Culture, and at the same time, I'm having a portfolio which Dr. Srividhya has given to speak on the subject, today's subject of digitalization and innovation. So I will like to introduce my view with perspective of India being the president of G20 for this year. As you know, the world is changing rapidly, and digitalization and innovation are the forefront of this transformation. And we all know that G20 is an international forum for economic cooperation, and India's presidency this year, it provides us with the opportunity to discuss how we can harness the power of digitalization and innovation to build a better future for all. So today I will discuss next product revolution and the challenges and opportunities it presents, as well as the policies needed to support digitalization and innovation. We will also like to explore the role of G20 in promoting these policies and ensure that the benefits of digitalization and innovation are shared widely. See, the NPR is the new wave of technological advancement that will transform the way we produce goods and services. It is the fourth industrial revolution that is driven by digitalization and automation. And NPR is characterized by the integration of advanced technology such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, IoT, and big data analytics. It is expected to have a significant impact on economic growth, competitiveness, and job creation. Now, digitalization is the backbone of the NPR. It involves the integration of digital technologies into all aspects of production processes. The use of digital technologies such as IoT, cloud computing, and big data analytics enables us to collect the businesses to collect and process large volumes of data in real time. This helps business to optimize their operations, reduce cost, and improve the quality of their products. Now, digitalization also facilitates the creation of new business models such as servitization, where business shifts from selling products to offering services. This also helps the businesses to create additional revenue streams and enhance customer experiences. I will discuss you about a case is the Indian multinational Reliance India Limited. In 2019, Reliance India Limited announced a plan to invest around 10 billion in the development of a digital service ecosystem. The ecosystem known as Zio leverages the power of digitalization to offer a wide range of services. They were into telecommunications, e-commerce, digital payment, and by only embracing digitalization, it has been able to diversify its business and tap into new market, positioning itself as a leader in India's digital revolution. Another company which has implemented is digital technology is Tata Steel plant in Jamshedpur. They implemented AI, machine learning, robotics, and it improved the production efficiency and quality control. What happened? Tata Steel uses the artificial intelligence algorithm to analyze data and from sensors placed throughout their plant. This data is then giving them data to optimize the processes, reduce energy consumption, improve quality, product quality, and it has helped them to reduce the energy consumption by 10% and improve its yield by 5%. And as if you are able to reduce the power consumption by 10% and increase the production by 5%, this is a big change in the profit scenario. And this is all due to the result of this digital initiative we take. There is one more company, I think you must have heard about it, that is Reddy's Laboratory. It's a pharmaceutical company and they use the same digitalization and their drug development process took advantage of this analytical and machine learning, and they were able to analyze vast amount of data and identify partners that help them develop drug more quickly and efficiently.
Thank you.
So innovation, when we can see what is the role of innovation in the next production NPR. Innovation is the key driver of the NPR. It is essential for business to remain competitive and adapt to the rapid changing environment. And this innovation they involve the development of new products and services, processes, and improve efficiency.
You nailed it there. It's the key aspect for moving forward. Thank you so much. Thanks for mentioning it there. Sure. So on that note, that was a very key note that Dr. Chandraprakash ji was mentioning, that innovation is a key aspect to move forward and to bring any change in the society. On that note, we would like to extend a warm welcome to all speakers of today. Mr. Shubhankar Patak. He is the National Head of EduNext India. Warm welcome to you, sir. Thanks for joining us on time. In fact, before everyone. Thank you so much. Very kind of you. Thanks for accepting our invitation and being here on this forum today to share your views. And very soon we'll be joined by Mr. Subburaj Balraj. He is the CEO and founder of Ninja Technologies India. Thank you so much. And we're going to be joined by our previous speaker who has joined us in the previous forum, Mr. Krishna Raj, who is the Managing Director of Venture Builder India. Along with them, we have a teacher who is an educationist, and Madam Saida, whose other name is Fatima, and she's a teacher trainer from Bishop Scott Girls School, India. Thank you so much. We extend the forum. We open the forum to all the speakers of today, and with all your contributions, I think we will be able to have more things to share with our viewers, and then towards the end of the session, then we will open it for other speakers as well. So on that note, I would extend my sincere warm welcome to Mr. Shubhankar Patak. Thank you, sir. You can introduce yourself, you can talk about your company and all your innovative schemes and projects that you have been working on across the globe. I wouldn't say it's only India, because I know that it's not restricted only to India. Across the globe, and you can share. And the platform is all yours. Welcome to you, sir. Thank you so much. Welcome, Shubhankar Patak ji. Please.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Srividhya, for the introduction. And a very warm good afternoon to each and everyone out here. So, as Srividhya ma'am has explained, I am representing India. So, I'm representing a company in India called as EduNext Technologies. So, it is my delight to tell you all that we work with more than 1,000 plus educational institutions in India and overseas. We have our partners in UAE, we have our partners in Ghana, in Japan as well. And we provide complete lot of school administrative solutions to the school. So we work with the schools, we have been working with the schools from past 1 decade. And today I would be emphasizing on the role of latest technologies in education, like how different technologies, if I talk about artificial intelligence or if I talk about augmented reality, so how it is impacting education nowadays and how it is benefiting the educational institution to adopt these technologies and be efficient in their way of operation. So if I talk about these areas, so in the last 1 decade, if we see, technology has gained much more significance in our life. And with the introduction of these two powerful tools, AI and augmented reality, it has kind of evolved so tremendously that even the educational institute nowadays, the learning of the student, the teaching experiences given by the teachers, it has become so efficient. So, how does AI help? So, first of all, I would talk about the AI role of artificial intelligence in education. So, how does AI help in the education institutions? So, in education, so far, if we talk about, mostly the teaching experiences were based on the traditional approaches. So, mostly the teachers were using traditional approaches to teach the student. But these AI tools, it has come as a kind of fresh wave of automation, wherein it is helping the schools, it is helping the teachers to bridge those knowledge gaps which were existing among different traditional grading systems. So AI has very vast advantages and benefits for the education institute. So if I talk about certain tools, how the AI is helping the school to be more competitive and be more efficient, first is that they provide a grading software. So what is that? Grading software basically it uses machine learning to provide a kind of calculating system wherein it can gather the data on matrices and it can help the teacher to provide assessment of the handwritten assignment. So it saves time and it can be used as a powerful medium for automating this entire manual work so that teacher can use this technology, they can save time, and at the same time they can be involved in more value based work rather than doing these operational day-to-day manual work. Other than that, AI can also help the schools and the institutions, colleges in taking care of the administrative tasks. Like there are many administrative tasks at the school end, at the colleges end, like scheduling of the classes, rescheduling of the classes, marking the attendance, checking the copies, entering the marks, generating the report cards, maintaining all the students' database, record purpose. So with use of these AI tools, it can serve as an automation wherein these time-bound things, the manual things can be automated and even the teachers and the students, they can use it and it can be an efficient way of transferring the communication from the teacher end to the student end. Other tool which is very efficient in terms of AI empowerment in the school is voice assistant. So nowadays everyone has heard of it. This chat GPT system is there, which is given nowadays. So how does this voice assistance help in the school? So basically, it gives a kind of more experiential learning to the student, wherein in the classroom itself, using these voice assistants, a more collaborative and customized individual lesson plan can be created for the student. So instead of following a day-to-day common lesson plan, a student-specific lesson plan can be created. Students can use these voice assistants as a coaching trainer. They can get their queries sorted out. They can speak to the voice assistant. They can get their answers in time, and that way their experiential learning can happen, and their growth can eventually increase in due course of time. Similarly, other benefits are like using AI, personalized training can be given, smart content can be given. There are certain gaming tools what these AI applications are using, like they use batches, they use some scores, leaderboards, and all, wherein it gives a kind of competitive environment among the students and they grow that way also. And there's one more powerful technology which AI is using is ITS. It is called as Intelligent Tutoring System. So what is that? Basically, ITS is a kind of software wherein it analyzes the knowledge gap of each and every child and accordingly using a machine learning algorithm it prepares a lesson plan for them. And once the student they are onto it, it gives a kind of personalized feedback to them as well, so that these all are the areas where they are lacking and how it can be overcome. So that way, even using these AI tools like grading software like ITS, all those knowledge gaps can be enhanced. So these all were the introductions of AI tools. Talking about the other aspect, which is augmented reality, which is now practically being used and implemented in education institution. What is augmented reality? So if I talk about AR, it is generally used as a concept to show the things to the students in a more practical manner. So instead of going through a routine textbook, going through a routine picture, the students can have a view at an object in a 3D manner, in a more practical view. So augmented reality superimposes audios, videos and graphics on the environment, on the existing environment, so that it can be a more interactive way of making the students understand a particular topic. So why it is important in the school setup? Because certain times there are more complicated problems in the school which the students are not able to understand. Like for example, if I talk about geometry sessions, if the students are not able to understand about the concept of geometry, so using AR as a tool, the objects can be represented in a 3D shape, wherein they can go through it practically and they can understand it in a more interactive way, using some hands-on collaborative learning mechanism, right? So there are different benefits of using and implementing AR in the education institute. Like first is the student engagement and interest will increase. So student interest also skyrocket with an opportunity to engage in kind of creating educational content with the teachers. So using AR, the interest of the student, the engagement of the student, that can enhance. Second, it can give a kind of learning environment to the student. So learning environment means like they will have to implement hands-on learning approaches. So practically they can try out the thing. So it will make them much more easier to understand the concept rather than going through a routine textbook and all routine approach of learning. So they can be using more of a handful of experience. Then the content understanding would be more, because yes, eventually if you are doing a thing in a experiential learning using AR technology, then it will create a kind of immersive educational experience. So it will help the teachers also to download the practical knowledge to the students, and it will help the students also to kind of understand the content in a better manner. Then fourth benefit would be collaboration. So in AR as a tool, what happens, it is in a digital form, right? So it can be shared with each and every, there can be a group of teachers and the student, and it can be shared among themselves. So even the students can participate in development of the content, they can share their inputs. Teachers can also encourage them, and all together a digital content can be created, which will be in a more collaborative manner. So it will help the students to actively engage in the educational content creation process. So in a way, development of the student. Then after that, if I talk about sharpening the memory of the child, so even if we also as an individual, we have come across this fact that if we memorize anything and if we practically do anything, so practical implementation stays in our memory throughout the life cycle. So using AR, it can be kind of experimental based learning wherein the students remembers it for a longer period of time. Like for example, if a teacher has to teach the students on a topic in India, so instead of showing them a map of India, they can actually show a AR project wherein they can ask the student to navigate through the cities. So it will leave a long lasting impression on their mind. So that way, memory would also be sharpened using this AR tool. Then when we talk about sensory development of the child, so yes, because AR is altogether based out of motion sensors, tools and all. So sensory development, this immersive virtual learning, that way the students, this help can also approach them to enhance their sensory development. And the final thing is cost effectiveness. So earlier when this AR technology was introduced, there was an apprehension that yes, it might not be implemented in the educational institution because of the cost. But nowadays, with the introduction of these smartphones, even the students are, nowadays every of them are using social media, WhatsApp, Facebook and all. So these all AR tools, it can be easily downloadable in a smartphone as well. And it can kind of, so these hardwares are equipped enough to run this AR technology software. So this way the cost effectiveness can also be there, and even it can be easily implemented across all the educational institutions. So what I mean to say, to summarize it, when we talk about AI, when we talk about AR, even often VR, video augmentation is also there. So these all are the tools which are need of the hour. And yes, 5 years down the line, we would see that yes, now educational institutions are finding it very easy to give a kind of experiential learning to the students using all these powerful technology tools. And we as a company, I come from EduNext Technologies, we always strive to provide a state-of-the-art technologies to the schools and institutions. So we kind of work on all these things. We have a R&D department wherein we continuously do our R&Ds to provide state-of-the-art services to the schools. So that's all what I had to say today. Thank you so very much for giving me this opportunity so that I can explain about the technological advancement and any views from your end. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Shubhankar Pratapji. That was very elaborative and very descriptive towards its rationale. And if we have any queries, definitely we are all educationists who are gathered here on this platform. So in that case, like if you have any queries, you will just make a note of those queries and we'll come back to you and you can just review them. By the way, you can drop your contact details in the chat box so that if anyone who have joined us on the platform, they would like to get in touch with you, they can always do that. Because they're all principals, they're all educationists, they're directors of different institutions. Definitely they would like to take your support on that. Dr. Chandra Prakashji, would you like to add on to that? Because I had to really cut you there. I'm sorry, because Mr. Shubhankar Pathak had another meeting which was lined up and he said that I have to leave. And his turn, though it was a fourth member to come in the row, I had to call him first because to accommodate him. Thank you so much, Shubhankar.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for having me here. And definitely, I've shared my contact details and everything on the group, on the chat box. So in case any of the school is interested in our services, they may reach out to us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Prakashji, would you like to add on? Please.
Actually, the way the education pattern is changing, and it can be these things which Mr. Pathak has mentioned, they have to be industrial oriented, or the startup culture should be developed between the students. That it has to be, we are not making a student based artificial intelligence, and students became like monotonous, like everybody is thinking in the same pattern. The idea of artificial intelligence implementation in education should be to give more elaborative thinking capacity in different segments, not in one particular direction. So otherwise creativity will be finished from this world.
True, very true.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Shubhankar Pathakji. Thank you, Chandra Prakashji. Well, on the same note that we have got one more speaker who is from the educational background, who has joined us for the session today. We would like to present before you Ms. Larab Fatima, who is a teacher in Bishop Scott School, and she has been a resource person for conducting training programs.
Yes.
Our sincere thanks to you for joining our session during Ramadan time. We really respect it. And please open the forum to you. And now it is over to you. Please kindly introduce yourself and you may just go. Thank you so much.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much, ma'am. And it's really my pleasure to join over here. Okay, ma'am. See, now coming to the benefit of AI and AR in the education sector, as sir who had told before me, he had already explained everything. But something are there which as a teacher I like to share from my side. That AI generally it allows awesome workflows, okay, and being an educator, when it is combined with WebEx, R and VR technology, so the student will simply learn it. Okay, we will be energized and student will also be energized and inspired. Okay, And for this we need the trained educators too. The educators have to be trained in teaching and learning in the metaverse. Okay, so many of the schools, they are already using this metaverse, but I don't know when we all will be able to use it in India. Okay, the students will themselves go in that world and using all those things. Okay, the metaverse and everything. So we'll see increased retention of knowledge, improvement in the behavior of the students, and they'll be able to retain the knowledge for a longer time. They'll all be doing it in the metaverse world. But I don't know how much time or how we'll be able to implement it in India. Now coming to the use of Chat GPT. Now it's time to start that before Chat GPT, how the world was there and after Chat GPT. Everywhere they are talking about this Chat GPT, every education forum. More than ever, after Chat GPT, this era, we need those teachers who are able to adopt a mindset and have an approach that is focused on innovation, creativity, and problem solving. In this era, we don't need those educators who are sticking to the old classroom values or the old classroom way in which we were taught. No. Okay, we need those educators who use the expertise or the AI tools which are available nowadays. Okay, and they have the passion to create new opportunities in this education as well as develop a system which is fit for the purpose and fit for our students. Now, we can say the entrepreneur teachers. Okay, they are often, the entrepreneur teachers. I came to know these entrepreneur teachers are usually the self-starters. Okay, they will take the risk, they will experiment with the new ideas, and they adapt quickly to changing and circumstances like the use of AI, VR, the metaverse. Okay, they are innovative and resourceful because the students which we have now, they are created for a different world to use the AI, AR, metaverse, all in the education sector. Okay, and other tools also to expertise the learning experience of our students and to make their teaching more effective and more efficient. That is how we can bring changes in the education sector, innovation in the education sector. This is how we can bring innovation in the education sectors. So we need, as sir told, I don't remember his name, they are providing these types of resources. So it will be very much good if the government of India is doing something for the schools, okay, to so that the students can have access to all these things. Because the students really need this. They are created for this world only. Because we are not going anyhow to stick to the old classroom method. Now the way of teaching, the way of explaining should change. They have to think out of the box. The critical thinking, experiential learning should be there. That's all is my concern for the students. Okay, when you ask Chat GPT, what are the traits of the educators of nowadays? It will say that creativity should be there, passion should be there, flexibility and collaboration. Okay, so all these, and when the resources are available to the teachers, and these teachers have to be trained how to use these resources so that the students can benefit from them. That's all is my concern.
Thank you so much, Ms. Fatima. Thank you. It was nice having you here. Well, adding on to Ms. Fatima's, relating it to this topic. Thank you very much, Madam Fatima. It is nice having you here. And we have noted those points that you have mentioned clearly, that what is the thing, how we are going to take it to the community very clearly. So when it comes to that, thank you so much. The digital technologies with the future production. So it includes the pointer that digital technologies and the future production. So the confluence of different technologies is driving the digital transformation and also the industrial production. Now, Madam Fatima and the previous speaker also, they were all related to education field. So they were relating the topic with the education field. But it doesn't stop there. It doesn't restrict. There are no restrictions only for the education field. It is for the whole other industries as well. So the two trends make the digital technologies with transformation for production is that the falling cost is very important, very, very important. How we are going to manage the cost in a country like India, as Madam Fatima has really mentioned, and which has allowed wider diffusion and more importantly, the combination of different ICT projects and the systems and the convergence with the technologies with the current trends with the embedded software or the use of IoT in a more systematic and organized way. How we are going to enable this digital transformation with the industrial processes. This is what is the challenge that we are facing. And when it comes to that, what are the new trends which are coming up, and how can policy makers like educationists or the school education institution owners and the principals and the people who are involved in it, how they are going to monitor and prepare an adjustment processes to streamline and to align these requirements into the racing technology competence into the labor market. When it comes to that, the future challenge which we are going to face is that though we will have the products, we will have the systems, we need to train, we need the workforce, we need the 4.0 industrial revolution workforce that with enabled skills, IT skills and the digital competence to take forward these measures that has been. Implementation of a project is something that's totally different. And who is the team who is going to take it forward to the community? And finally, reviewing the team, the working system, the resources being employed in a particular system, and how well the review is done, and whether it is actually working on well, whether we need any more intermissions to that, any additions to that, any modifications to be done. So all these things are in the hands of the policy makers. To reach it to the community, to reach its rational, to meet its objective, all these things have to be taken into account. On that note, I would request Dr. Mr. Chandra Prakash Ji, because when he was talking, we were interrupting in between. I'm sure he will be able to contribute more on that. Chandra Prakash Ji, please. Thank you so much. Kindly share your insights, sir.
You have just spoken about the policymakers' role. So actually, there are a lot of challenges in digitalization and innovation. The policymakers should take a proactive approach, and firstly, the government must prioritize investment in digital infrastructure, including broadband connectivity, to ensure that all individuals and communities have equal access to digital technology. And they should focus on upskilling and reskilling the existing workforce to prepare them for the changing nature of the work. This includes, like you have told, many people have told in education and training programs that promote digital literacy and entrepreneurship. The policymakers should also promote and enable regulatory environment that which can foster innovation and competition. And very important is protecting consumer privacy and data. The policymakers should also address the ethical considerations of digitalization and innovation. And the use of artificial intelligence is transparent and accountable. The challenges which policymakers need to focus on is creating a regulatory framework that can balance the need of innovation with the need to protect intellectual property rights. That means creating a system of patent and trademarks which is fair and transparent. And at the same time, it should encourage collaborating knowledge sharing among businesses and research. The government should also ensure that the benefits of digitalization and innovations are shared equitably across society, including addressing the risk of job displacement and income inequality. So these are the things which are in the framework which has to be addressed, and I think Government of India is doing it. We have covered almost 250,000 villages by we have provided broadband net connectivity. We are having the scheme of National Optical Fiber Network. We have initiated that many medium-sized enterprises to compete with larger companies. We have implemented several policies for SMEs. So I think that the change is coming. We have to adopt ourselves to the new world which is in front of us. There are many companies also which have adopted it for the industry's part. At the same time, now I am coming to know about, you can say, heap and bound the work which is carried by the education in the education field, and it is really commendable. Thank you.
Thank you, Chandraprakash ji. Thanks for sharing those insights, and those points are really very key points as such. Government should aim to promote the supply of key ICTs and the requirements, and should consider supporting investments in terms of R&D. That is also another key point that you have mentioned, and in enabling these technologies such as big data analysis and cloud high, even use of cloud is again a big requirement. Cloud computing, so that is also there. So these things definitely cater, or it caters to the requirement, and it is more related to our topic such as today. Not only the data analysis on the cloud and high performance computing, and also the IoT, as well as the security aspect of it, which is again another not direct, indirect problem which will be following through. So cyber security enhancement also should be taken care of. And I think with all these things, national digital economy strategy can really would require more investment in terms of that. In that case, how we as quantum technology and use of quantum technology, and also for the commercialization and finance related fields and requirements. So how we are going to face this? What kind of policies, what kind of strategies can come up? That also should be really thought about. Thanks for dropping those insights there. And also government should decide considering about policies to encourage investments in adoption of this key enabling of ICTs by and especially in the SME sector. That is again another dimension, another discipline of the same parent challenge. That's what I would say. So in that case, when it comes to SMEs, the first key point is creating awareness. How many of us are even aware of these problems which are being there? How many of us do access? Of course, we do have mobiles and we do have access to it, but how to make use of it for the industrialization, for the economic, for their own self-economy and contributing to the country's economy, how we can just mobilize these things. So creating an awareness and then raising and train the execution of these projects and training and mentoring on all these schemes. So these are also side by side we have to work on these points. And also when it comes to the other companies, other countries, rather than who we are working with, how we are going to go in par with them in addressing these challenges and getting in par with them in terms of export and import, and raising up our standards, raising up the bar, and to be in par with them. And so again, when it comes to this, to promote, there should be an openness, an open-minded approach to work on these things, and application of these programming sectors in interface and formats, etc. Say, for example, when it comes to the metaphors, Madam Fatima has mentioned, and you also mentioned about it. When it comes to the metaverse, people are not quite comfortable with that, and the first apprehension which comes to that mind is what is this new thing which has come up and how we are going to do that? What will be the cost? Will I be able to, if you are from the business sector, you will definitely agree with me. What will be the cost involved for it? Will I be able to manage the situation? Then do I have the workforce to manage this program, the new thing which has come up? So these are the questions which are normally in the minds of an entrepreneur, in the minds of the business people. In that case, definitely we should come up with strategies, we should come up with execution plans, and for everything we need to have a proper setup, a standard operating procedure. One is first we start with the knowledge base, so we understand exactly what is the requirement and we compare it, we understand it. First is the knowledge, second is the understanding. We compare ourselves what position, what situation I am, what situation my company is, and what is the requirement. So we do the comparative study. Thus that we equip ourselves. Third is the equipping. Okay, fine. Now I understood exactly what is required for my company. So when it comes to the equipping, so I will build the program and then I will be able to execute the program. For executing, I need to go for the training. So this is a process that we are talking about. And definitely, if anybody can give in any solution regarding it, I think we should. Anybody who has used any new program or new strategies in their firm, such that they will be able to guide us to, as our first speaker was able to tell us, in terms of education, these things can be handled in such a way such that we will be able to provide a solution. So in terms of SMEs, in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of building up digital competence, so if anybody can share anything that they have come across, they have handled the situation, they have challenged those challenges to come across the situation, to combat those challenges and have really resolved those challenges and found solutions, will be able to share much more. Thank you so much, sir. If we want to more on the discussion, like moving ahead with what Chandra Prakash ji has said, so digitalization in industrial production requires R&D in the fields of IoT, data analysis and computerization. So this is what is the thing that we have. And I do have a projection which I can prove from different countries, but this is too statistical. So in that case, what are the problem areas that we should think about is that liability, transparency and pollution. So when it comes to the data analysis, it leads to a new way of making decisions. Exactly. So say for example, if you are having an accountancy firm, all these days we have been using ledgers, and now when it comes to digitalization point of view, how we will be able to handle that? In the sense like in terms of SAP integration or any other new thing that has come up, maybe the virtual learning environment or anything which has come up. And in that case, second is our accountability. That's what is it. So then, when it for delivering the goods, exactly. Third is that since I was expecting to speak there, I stopped there in between. So when it comes to the implementation process, when they implement new things, normally what happens, like we implement it and we would like to review it, whether it is actually working in our system, whether it is actually helping in our system. So in that case, review, to evaluate, that is again another E which comes in the same process. So evaluation is one, evaluation is another one. So when you evaluate, you will come across to know exactly whether it is actually leading our company to a profit or a loss. So that is also to be taken into account when it comes to the budget. And finally, end product is, are we reaching our goal? Exactly. Is it really helping us in taking the business forward? Is it really contributing to take our economy forward in terms of consumer protection? Whether my clients are happy with the way that we are able to answer, or in terms of customer service and everything, in terms of competition in the industry, in this existing competition in the industry and the global market. And when it comes to the taxation, exactly, internally, when it comes to the national level, are we catering, are we in comply, or are we aligned to the taxation policy, taxation formulation and the regulatory framework which is included in that? All these new challenges also to be considered in terms of this. So the government need to act as if the regulatory uncertainties to prevent adoption of to prevent from adopting the ICT programs. And the government should also support a culture of digital risk management. As I told you, when anything which comes to the cloud, it's very easy to say cloud-based system, but how safe is the data? When it comes to the data analysis, feeding in one data is one thing, then to maintain the data there, and how safe is my data? So the question of safety and security also to be taken into account. So when it comes to the digital risk management and the supply yes, sorry. So when it comes to the policy driven, it's going to be policy driven and the goal driven. These are the things definitely we should take into consideration. It's about with the regulatory uncertainties which is preventing us from the adoption of ICT, and also the digital risk management systems should be taken into account. And finally, when we talk about sustainability, when we talk about sustainable, all these things why we are doing to make ourselves sustainable in the global economy and with the digital components. When we use that, sustainability is not that introducing something new or bringing something out of the world. It is without jeopardizing the present situation. So when we are already having a business plan, when we already have an SME with us, we cannot jeopardize, we cannot change everything overnight and bring something new. It's definitely not. We should know how to reuse from the existing situation of exactly what we have. So should be a linkage, there should be a proper trail from what we have to what is required and what is going to be implemented. So these strategies also have to be taken into consideration. So in that case, coherence with the present data and the new data which is coming up as a framework, as a proper framework should be developed. So these things have to go very systematically in a very organized way, such that it doesn't affect, very importantly, anything I'm going to bring something new and then we just jump into that and finally we should not end up something which we are not able to handle. So that also should be taken into consideration. So in that case, we may seek to promote the responsible use of the personal data which is available without any violation to our privacy and also to the other contribution that is expected. So again, we need to consider the market trends which are there, that we need to take into consideration the market trends which are available, which are there in the market, and also we should never forget to take into consideration of our competitors who are there in the market also. So one is the market trends, the new trends which are novel trends which have come up, and also our competitors who are, whether we are in par with them or they're ahead of us or we are falling deficit. So these things also to be taken into consideration. Further thinking about the attribution of the responsibility and the liability, inappropriate data-driven decisions should be completely taken care of. So,
as you have told, this is regarding the data security. Government has to ensure that proper data security is also given for the companies or individuals who are involved in this. That is very important. And cloud computing, they are having very huge data, and the process itself is processing data in the large volumes of in real time. This helps the business, but at the same time, if there is any manipulation in those, that can be accidentally, it can lead to disasters also. So when we are shifting a business from one profile, and due to the data which is available, it is shifting gradually to the latest trend. And if that is not guided properly with the help of government aided agencies or which can do the security as well as the guaranteeing of the reliability, the whole business can go to a downside. So this, when there is a lot of e-commerce and digital payment is required, it is very important that it has to be taken care by the reliable hands, and all these otherwise this whole concept of digital revolution can take a backseat. We are having the example recently when Tata started. In Jamshedpur, they started to do the innovation, and they wanted to do all this robotics and everything. They almost 22 times they failed, and they had big losses. Ultimately, they were able to analyze there was a glitch which was coming from the data which was being played on by somebody. Somebody was providing them the instruction in algorithms which was able to manipulate the system of Tata's in Jamshedpur, and their full production facility got affected. So this type of cyber security is very important. So I think that we don't have anybody to speak now. We have almost reached the end of this.
Mr. Krishnaraj has joined, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Let him join. Let him take over and
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chandraprakash. Thanks for summing it up so nicely, so well. And definitely that's a very key thing that we should work on. The cybersecurity is another very important. The data which is being driven by this digital transformation, digitalization should be is very important. Well, on that note, we would like to introduce our the following speaker for today, Mr. Krishnaraj, whom we have familiarized with a couple of sessions before. Mr. Krishnaraj.
Good evening, good morning to all who is celebrating New Year. My best wishes to all of you. Thank you, Dr. Srividhya, for giving the opportunity once again. The time was a little short, but this is a subject which I immensely love. My name is Krishnaraj, for those of you whom it's the first time. I run a foundation called B2I2 USA, which is Better Tomorrow Innovation Incorporated. The idea of forming this company was to use technologies to elevate humans in whichever way it is possible, and we try to use technologies to see how it can help human beings in a better way. My background is that I'm an engineer. I hold a certificate on innovation from MIT Sloan. I also have a post-graduation from Columbia University, USA on digital. That's a brief background of myself. The way I would like to possibly take it forward is that my submission on this subject is very brief, but I would love to hear from the audience in terms of what do they think. The subject for today is digitalization and innovation. Okay. So the first question is digitization is innovation? What do you think? What do people think? Is digitization is innovation, or is it two separate things? All right, okay. So my view is that digitization is not innovation, because digitization can happen in any manner. A company can, in a corporate context, they can possibly implement a CRM, or they can have some payment gateways, and to that extent, that department can get digitized. That's not innovation. To me, the innovation is much larger. And what do you think the scope of innovation is? Where does it originate? A lot of people think that innovation originates in corporates. Do you agree? Do the audience agree?
No.
Yeah. Thank you. So, for those of you who have said that innovation does not originate only in corporate, where do you think does it originate? Does it happen in military? Does it happen in the government? Does it happen among the people?
It's among the people everywhere.
Okay, very well. Thank you so much for giving that answer.
So, speaker.
Absolutely. So I have a small case study which I had presented to MIT when I was studying, and I wanted to just share the small bit of my view on digitization and innovation. That's in context. So the framework of digital innovation is on three basic prongs. One is it desirable to the customer? Is it possible for you to find a technical solution to solve that desirability or a problem? And is it viable? So from a business context, is it viable? Will you make money? Will you keep it sustainable? But the example which I'm going to show is nothing to do with corporate. And I see that a lot of us here are from India, and maybe there are people not from India. Is a innovative program what Government of India had undertaken. This is called JAM. I'm sure that everybody is quite familiar with this, the program, or would have been benefited. So if you remember what was happening maybe 15 years ago, India is a socialist democratic kind of configuration as a country, which means that we had a very high level of social focus, where the subsidies were in order of the day, and the complaint often was that the money does not reach the poor, and the poor remains poor, but the money does not get reaches its end beneficiary. So what the government did was that to increase the reach of its subsidy, it started adding bank accounts, and it started ensuring that every citizen has a identity card, and to ensure that the money reaches through the mobile. So what has happened was that in this case, it was a much longer paper which I had presented, but in this context, what has happened is that every rupee which was sent by the government was reaching its end beneficiary. So when you look at the statistic today, there are 320 million Jan Dhan and other accounts, which is almost equivalent to US population. If you look at pure as Aadhaar, it's about 1.3 billion Aadhaar cards. It's possibly some total of the number of passports issued by Europe and US put together. And purely by mobile numbers, there are about 120 crore mobile phones for a population of 135 or 139 crores, and out of which 50% is the smartphones. And here's something which is astonishing. If you look at pure UPI transactions, there are 400 banks as on date. This is taken from the government website itself. 400 banks which are on the network. There are 72 transactions which happens. This is something which I converted. 72 transactions per citizen every year, which means that every citizen in the country has more or less has become bankable. That's the word which is possibly used, bankable and non-bankable. Everybody has become bankable, and there is almost like 120,000 rupees per citizen which is getting transacted per year. So to me, this is one of the best example of how the government can take digital and technology to transfer that into innovation, which also helps the people. So what's happening is that it has ensured that the money which is spent on welfare reaches the end person effectively. There is no leakage. There's absolute transparency, and you have a whole lot of people who are not only going to use this only for receiving subsidies, but also to do transactions. And today, if you were to actually put a number to this, 15% of India's GDP happens through UPI transactions. So I come from an education background, so let me just give a context of how it is changing for education. There are possibly 5 levels at which it is changing. One is mass connectivity. So think of a school which would possibly handle 1,000 students in a year, but in digital there is absolutely no limit. You can have 100,000 students or 100,000 students. It does not make a difference in delivery as long as it's pre-recorded. In case of live, then you have a slightly different configuration. It makes it accessible. Accessible means that it does not matter whether you are in Chhattisgarh or you are in Assam or you are in some remote area. As long as there is connectivity and you have a mobile, you're able to access. Third, impact at scales. So when I say impact at scale, what it means is that any institution, any traditional brick and mortar institution has a finite capacity in terms of its number of students. Maybe it can hold 1,000 students in a year. So it impacts 1,000 students in a year at the most, because it is limited by its infrastructure, its teachers, their ability to conduct, and students, their own ability to come to school and study. But in case of e-learning, what happens is that you have a huge number of students who can get educated at the same time, at their convenience. The fourth thing which is happening, which is quite astonishing, is individualization or personalization. So think of the typical school where you have a teacher-student ratio of 1:20, at the best maybe 1:40 or 1:50. How many students a teacher would be able to pay attention to? It's possibly 1 or 2 or 3 at the best, even if in the best of intentions, it is not possible to do that. But what happens because of technology, it's possible for want to go to each and every student individually and customize the amount of learning so that each student can get that individual attentions. It's not gone to that level yet, but that's the direction at which it is going. Yes, doctor.
A little louder, please.
I'm sorry?
You have to be little louder. We're not able
Okay.
to. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Fifth one, am I audible now? Yeah, better? Okay. Fifth one is affordability. So what happens in digital is that as the scale improves, the cost per delivering a unit keeps coming down. It keeps coming down, it keeps coming down. So one of the major hurdle which students in the developing economies like India, in Africa and in places in South America face is that affordability of education. Because of digitization, the cost of education keeps coming down to such an extent that even poorest of the poor are able to access it. So how the e-learning is changing, even as we are speaking, in my own view, there are three major elements which might have some impact. One is AI. So AI will allow further level of optimization, personalization, content creations. Second one is that digital twins. So digital twins is a technology where you can simulate the actual. It's used in city design. It is used in military extensively. It is used in research and development, where you do not have to actually build something and destroy it to find out what happens, but you can actually create digitally and put different simulations to see how it works. It can help students who are studying in labs to do experimentation. The third one is metaverse. So there are very contradictory views from the time I think Zuckerberg has mentioned about metaverse a few years ago, but this holds a very interesting promise for people who are not able to actually attend physically, but they want to have the experience little more than online learning. So what happens in one of the online learning is that you lose the sense of community because you are by yourself. And in a physical school or a college, what happens is that you're not only learning from your teacher, but you also learn from your classmates. You also develop a bond. You build a chemistry, and which possibly becomes a lifelong companionship. So metaverse is something which will bring it slightly closer, where you will be able to attend a class virtually along with the classmates. Let's say avatar of the classmates, but the level of interactions will be much higher. But for this to happen, there are three things which needs to happen. One is that the data level has to become at least 5G, because metaverse solely depends on a very high level of bandwidth. Second one, the wearables will have to become more and more accessible, cheaper, and that's an industry challenge. And the third one is that one has to build a community. So this is something which I had submitted to. I was invited to one of these conferences by Oxford, and they asked me what's my take on learning and how it's changing. So from my own personal experience, back in the 80s when I was started the schooling in the subcontinent, it was what Henry Ford said. So you can choose any color as long as it is black. Everybody knows this famous saying. So we had a set option, and there was no way that we could choose what to consume. So this was the syllabus, this is the curriculum, and you study. Move forward possibly a few years, it changed a bit, where you had this option called as electives. So you can mix and match the subjects. Yeah, let me call it as buffet, but it's all with set menus. The third iteration is that you have this open buffet option, which means that you can get additional subjects, additional electives, and as long as you complete that, you can get your degrees. And the fourth stage is what I call it as developing now, is that you can create your own meal plan with all the electives, as long as it meets the academic criteria. It's more popular on the West, but I think in India it will come in some time. And the fifth one is that you have the option of choosing a la carte. For example, that you would like to study machine design from IIT Chennai, but you might want to study some other subjects in MIT in USA, and you might want to study something from France. So this is the trend which I foresee in some time in future might happen. So that was my short presentation, Dr. Srividhya. Questions welcome.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, that was quite informative. And I think you addressed all the issues basically and how to grow about it. Before you joined it, we discussed the same thing, implementation of the process and what are the challenges that we face, basically in terms of financial sustainability and while in the process of execution, when it talks about the cyber security, data security, and also reviewing and evaluating our trends, our present situation in comparison to the market trends, where we are able to cope up or we are lagging somewhere behind. So these things which we talked about definitely, and you address the same thing in terms of education sector and other industries. Well, summing up there, we have to thank you so much, Mr. Krishna. It was a very comprehensive presentation, I would say that it addressed the market trends and also the industrial sector as well. Coming to that, as you rightly mentioned, I attended a UNESCO's meeting on Education 4.0, which talks about creating lifelong learning opportunities for all, not irrespective of the students. Not only for the students, it talked about it doesn't have any age limit or the age barrier at all. Any age that you can just continue learning, continue education. That is what is the tagline goes as right to education. Right to education, anytime, anywhere, people should be able to learn. So the thing is, it's summed up as creating a forum, creating a portal kind of thing based on the IT, of course, in the cloud and exactly like whatever other portals that we have. It should be a portal. Thank you. So it should be a portal which will have first, as we search in Google, you just type on the Google, as we search, it's a portal like another portal like Google. So when you go in, you log in and you first think question which is asked for is, which language would you like to go in for? So you choose your language. First comes your language preference. So below the language, then which curriculum, which country do you represent? Which country do you belong to? So the country specifications come there. Then the third, which is following in the portal is, first is language, the second is the country, third is the curriculum. Which curriculum are we looking for? That is British curriculum, American curriculum, or Japanese curriculum, Finland curriculum. So then the curriculum comes in. So then just following the curriculum, then the another sub area is that which subject are we looking for? As you rightly mentioned, whether it is with the electives or with the primary or the secondary or the middle or any other sector, any discipline that they belong to, they choose the exactly level, the area or the level of learning, which area that they're looking at, whether it is foundation or nursery, anything for that matter. So after choosing the level, then comes the subjects, which is the thing, whether it is language or numeracy development or literacy development or the personality development, or it is for art, culture and everything. So then choosing the thing, then going into the topic. After choosing whether it is English, maths, science, social, then below the subjects, then comes the topic, exactly which topic are we looking for. Then after coming to the topic, tapering down into the exact concept that we are looking for. We are talking about nomenclature in plants or relating it to plants and their features of plants or the food preparation plants or different types of plants. Then you drop your question such that the tutor immediately, because you have already given your language preference, so the tutor in that particular language comes online and they come and clear it out. So the learning happens anytime, anywhere, according to your convenience in the same language that you want to, and the projects have been assigned, and very systematically the evaluation or the assessment of that particular session happens by the end of the session. Question is asked, will you be able to understand whether If you answer it right, that means your lesson is successful. If you answer it wrong, the lesson is not successful, unsuccessful. So you repeat it again. So the evolution or the success criteria is already mentioned there. So this kind of portal, if veterans like veteran people who are in IT industry like yourself, and definitely Mr. Subaraj Paulraj is already there from every Nexa. So people like you can pull in together, brainstorm ideas and bring such a portal. Definitely it is going to really benefit our education in India, definitely. And we'll be able to take it forward, definitely, as we're talking about education portals here.
Thanks, Srividhya. Yes, in fact, you nailed down almost more detailed about. In fact, I have taken a few notes to address a few points whichever you're talking about in terms of ledger statistics. In fact, I'm just going to share my experience how we addressed different challenges.
Great. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah.
I think it will add more value to Mr. Krishnaraj's presentation as well. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and good evening in case you're in India. I'm sitting from Dubai. Let me introduce myself. Myself, Subaraj Paulraj. I'm in UAE for last 24 years. Founder and running a company called Nanotechnologies. We mainly into IT or ERP consulting companies. We are working for different industries. We have presence in India as well as in Dubai. We have 3 regional offices. With this small brief, I would like to share. First, I would like to thank Srividhya for reaching me at last moment and giving this opportunity to highlight various things what we have done. We at Nanotechnology currently we are mainly focusing on implementing or offering consulting services for different industries using SAP as well as Oracle NetSuite. These both are leading ERP solutions perspective. Yes, we are talking about today's digital and innovations, technologies, all these things. Now, I would like to share how we are digitizing amidst small and medium segment companies using these technologies. In fact, during a discussion, Vidya I'm talking about in case what if a company is an accounting firm, how do they do it, right? Yes. So we using this SAP as well as Oracle, which is complete ERP solution which can talk about end-to-end operations. You can able to bring into digitalization. Means even Krishna talked about CRM, all the things. Yes, in these process or modules, what we are talking about, a company can end-to-end automate in terms of transform themselves to digital. It can be in a lead, it can be a CRM perspective, it can be a delivery, it can be a finance perspective, it can be a manufacturing, it can be irrespective of end-to-end operations. That's how the technology is already evolved as of today. In fact, one of our speaker even highlighted about experience in Jamshedpur, what they have done in Tata. Yes, Tata is using, I believe, SAP, where they're investing huge amount of money in terms of technology evolution by bringing AI in inbuilt as well as in Web3, or if you talk about metaverse or virtual reality, all these things, how they're trying to bring in within ERP perspective or maybe process perspective. In terms of automation, if you talk about, in fact, current trends, almost every applications, be it SAP, Oracle, Microsoft, or any even our Indian-based systems, even Zoho or plenty of applications, even ClickWorks, all these technology-based companies are evolving towards automations or maybe integrating with other solutions. That's where they can able to minimize manual work. In fact, I would like to address a few practical scenarios how we addressed it. Imagine you are just in your social media page in Facebook or LinkedIn, whatever it is, a slight ad is popping out. Do you want to buy a villa? Or do you want to buy something? Correct? That's all. They're pushing the data there. Automatically, the next minute or next 5 minutes, you will be getting a call saying that, hi, ma'am, Srividhya, ma'am, haven't you looked into my computer system? Would you like to buy a villa? Correct. So this is, see, the technology, different technologies. One is on LinkedIn, social media doing something. The other side, this has been directly talking to other ERP or a CRM perspective. The CRM data is pushed to the third party, the sales agent. The sales agent reaching out to you within a fraction of maybe a couple of minutes. Imagine how many systems are integrated together. This is where now, in fact, world is leading through. It means thanks to the Web3 or latest all the web technologies, and also along with integration platforms. Correct. That's where we as a people are integrating a different systems. Even the real example, what example I have given, this is one of our live customer case. They are into, in fact, a real estate company. They do make sales and lease both operations in UAE. The moment when somebody they're publishing ad in social media or Facebook or LinkedIn, next minute the data is getting captured automatically in your website and a CRM perspective, even in a cloud data in this sales perspective. So this is not only in this industry. Imagine nowadays lots and lots of everything become online shopping now. Everything become online. Imagine you are spending some time on one particular product. Next minute, all the data is all populating. Only similar ads only keep coming. Even you try in YouTube. These are all the practical examples I'm talking about because you can easily relate it. When you see a couple of random series or movies or anything on YouTube, the moment you next log in, automatically data getting pushed. That means it's all become digitally. They are all learning using this AI or using latest tech. They are all learning our data capturing, and with this they are all populating or social selling. This is called, there's a term called social selling. Rather than me reaching out the customer, I should be keeping my product where people are coming together. Instead of me keeping a product in the malls nowadays, I don't want to keep in the mall. I can keep my advertisement in Facebook or LinkedIn or maybe any other platforms where. So in fact, recent days, in terms of sales perspective, in terms of customer behavior perspective, many companies are investing in social media and doing these activities, correct? And along with that, more important perspective we need to understand in the sense, it's about the collaborative with different systems. Collaboration means, yes, I'm using maybe a Tally, I'm using SAP, I'm using a Oracle or a Focus, whatsoever it is. At the same time, I may be doing a product manufacturing or a product sales. Where do I sell? So how the market is behaving? What is the customer expectations? So somewhere somebody is talking in social media saying about I have one product. Okay, if at all these features getting added in my product, this will be better for my usage. It means learning the data from the social media network. Even it can be product enhancements, it can be new features, bringing the new features. All these things, they are fetching the data from different platforms via integrations. And another important highlight feature which I want to share here in the sense, we have done a project where there's a company here, a pharmaceutical manufacturing company, where they manufacture tablets and vitamin tablets. There they have a physical challenge of dispensing. This means especially in the pharmaceutical industries where the automation required in the sense, accuracy is more important because it's health-related activities. So even a small 5 milligrams of even a mix is getting added more. That need to be tracked. That's how. So what we did in the sense, using SAP technologies, we integrated different kinds of scales, and with AI, the system is controlling exactly is my correct recipes I'm taking it out, or how much quantity I'm taking it out. Is the recipe which I'm taking is within expiry or out of expiry? Up to that level of intelligence we can able to bring on the systems to do it. This also we addressed it. And you talked about government authorities, tax perspective, all the things you highlighted in one of our notes. Yes, whichever system current practice available, be it any kind of ERP platforms, all these platforms is localized as per the country taxation perspective. It means that recently now, maybe 4 or 5 years before our GST has come, each and every system has to be enabled at par with the government local policies. Same like now recently in Saudi, they are trying to bring a new method of taxing concept that should be ready. Even UAE, when they are going to bring our income tax plan, the system should be compatible enough to have it. So these, especially be it Oracle or SAP or Microsoft, these companies are investing heavily in terms of customizing solution to the local needs or maybe local government policy needs. So I can keep mentioning about different kind of small. Yes, we may not use direct AI or direct augmented reality in our past experiences, but at the same time, the automation means what it really means to me. And you mentioned that affordability. And yes, within my cost, I can able to automate or not. Within my budget, can I improve my efficiency? Within my budget or within the given platforms availability, is it possible to increase our automation process or control mechanism, or even defining a clear workflow mechanism. Now, in every process, even you're organizing this event, you would have got multiple people of approvals. You are reaching out every speakers, getting the approvals. Then you are coming up. This is how the even process-driven companies, these kind of applications is become complete process-driven. It means one after another. What happens if I do this? What should I do next? If I do this condition, what will be done? So like this, every system nowadays is completely a workflow engine can be clearly defined about it, and using these workflow engines, all these things, the entire process can be automated. And also one of our speakers highlighted about in terms of security, or maybe this wise, what exactly we have, these systems should be compatible in security. Yes, there are, in terms of global audit agencies available to define about the security agencies like SOC1, SOC2, or ISO 27001, ISO 27018, and PCS DSS. These are the different military grade security compliances, SOC compliances to be defined. These are the, we can, when we are going for any kind of systems, we can even verify whether these systems are how much secured, how much I'm volatile, or how my data is exposed. So these, up to these kind of security levels, this data is available. It means that yes, though we are moving towards cloud means yes, this all data is not in our hand. At the same time, as a leading practice, global companies are bringing a stringent security policies to make sure that our data are safe. So these are the policies are around the globe, where people are investing time, money, as well as the new technologies. They are doing this as well. And yes, our few speakers mainly highlighted about the AIs, all those activities. I would like to share one of my experience in terms of AI, how this can be used in real-time scenario in terms of normal business. Because as a Nijatech, we are almost working on more than 9 different industries, one in pharma and manufacturing, trading, logistics, different industry. We are implementing solutions. So one of our customer using this AI, what we did in the sense about forecasting, means what if scenarios. I have this much stock, how do I make it? Or you have, for given the scenario, how do I make sales of this much? Or how do I fulfill our stocks? So this is, and for example, next year I am fixing a target of $10 million. So how do I achieve this $10 million? So what if scenarios? These all the in real-time business, there is plenty of what if scenarios can be defined and configured and get it as a clear report saying that system using these real-time latest technologies, system has become more intelligent and suggesting data to the decision maker saying that, okay, if for using this, if at all I want to achieve a goal like this, I have to do this all steps. Yeah. So mainly in terms of forecasting, in terms of business analytics, or in terms of taking a right decisions making for these kind of things, the real-time data is a key. System is intelligent enough to offering it. Especially we talked about a different industry. I'd like to share about mainly in terms of inventory-based or maybe trading-based companies. Mainly there is concept called demand planning, or if at all I keep my huge amount of stock in my warehouse, it's the dead stock because I'm going to pay money for that. So the system is nowadays suggesting such that what if, when do I, how much stock I need to receive when to fulfill my current inquiries or current demands. So all these things is driven by data, along with the data and given current conditions and situations based on AI-based technologies. So these are the few insights I thought of sharing with our teammates now. Now, that's all from my side, and I leave to question and answer in case any of our colleagues would like to ask our questions. Maybe I can able to clarify based on my industry domain and expertise.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir. That was a very crystal clear depiction of exactly what is the current scenario in comparison to the future also. Moving ahead, is there anybody who would like to ask any few questions for Mr. Subbaraj regarding SAP implementation? You can. Mr. Subbaraj, you can drop your contacts over there in the chat box so that if at all anybody wants to directly have any clarification with you, they'll be able to take a number and they will be in touch with you. or anybody would like to collaborate with you for any of the programs that you have, well, they will be able to be in touch with you. That will really help them in the greater extent. And Mr. Krishnaraj, would you like to add on anything to Mr. Subraj? Please.
Yeah, I think Mr. Subraj has rich domain expertise in what he is doing, and I thank him for sharing his experiences. So, my view, from a innovation perspective, is that innovation does not really mean digitization. Digital is just one tool. Digital is just tool. Today there could be some other tool. So by including technology, it does not have to become innovative. Yeah, it becomes innovative only when it is able to solve your customer problem. In case of government, it could be citizens. In case of businesses, it could be your customer. If you're able to be of much higher value to your customer, which is that you're closer to them, you're faster to them, you're able to make their life better, you're able to bring their cost of acquisition, then that's what the transformation is about. If you are going to change one element of your business, that's possibly it's quite good for that department, but it does not mean transformation. So if you're able to use technology in a manner that it actually changes your end user, whether it's citizen or your customer, that's when the transformation happens. That's where the innovation comes into the picture. That's my view of technology and innovation.
I completely agree with Krishna. He made right statement saying that what is ease of use you're giving to our customers, right? That can be anything. It need not be always a software. It need not be always any technology. It can be anything. It can be as even at some smart devices or gadgets or mechanical equipments. Anything can be, which is making our customers' life easier and performance-wise, making their improvement. Or this right? Well said, Krishna. Actually, this is what the bottom line it is.
Thank you.
Very, very true. Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing that knowledge and expertise in your respective domains, Mr. Subraj, Paulraj. Thanks for being here in this forum, and thanks for your price time. Really, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And Mr. Krishna, as always, you've been a supporting hand for us. Always, as ever, and every time when you come up with more kind of inclusiveness in the forum as such, like you come up with a new idea, and also it's not like leaving a question open-handed, and you also give solutions to it. That's to be really appreciated in this forum. Sure. Thank you so much. Thanks for being a supportive fan.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Please keep on contributing, keep on being with us, and you can get in touch with, you can drop your contact details over there in the chat box so that people will be able to approach you and directly, and they can ask the questions. Some they would not like to speak in this forum, such that any clarification they can always come back to you, and then they can take your help for any guidance. Sure. Thank you so much. With your contact number and the email IDs, and also if you have your website, please share your website so that they will be in touch with you. As you know, this forum is only for collaboration. How we can collaborate together, how we can work together so that we are able to move towards our rationale of getting in touch with people. Well, we have come more closer towards the end of the session. Like we are little ahead, 10 minutes ahead of the session timing, but still some of the major, though we have summarized it in between. Now, when it comes to towards the closure of the session, definitely people should have a greater foresight in terms of science and technology. That is the greatest emphasis that we are just declaring at the end of the session. People should have greatest foresight. It is very easy to pick up any system, as Mr. Krishnaraj has mentioned a couple of times during his session. What is innovation? What is digitalization? What is innovation? Are they both same? Definitely, they're not same. It's like if you want to just have a mango, just throwing a stone is the older method of doing it. Using a catapult and taking the mango is the new way of doing it. Innovation is the second one, is the use of catapult, use of a device. It's use of a device or a program that will enable us to make things easy, such that it acts as a lever which makes the process more easy for us to apply, and such that it brings a leverage for us to be sustainable in the market trends or in the current trends, and boosting as we know, boosting self-economy, boosting the company's economy, boosting the country's economy, such that it contributes to the global economy as well. So definitely for all doing these things, the greater foresight is very much required. What is coming next? What is going to be the next trend? Am I going to be there? If at all I require. So the self-evaluation process, evaluate of exactly what is our company's situation right now as on the state. What is required for the modern trends or the novel trends which are coming up? Are we equipped? Are we equipped ourselves to satisfy that particular need? In that case, what is required? Knowledge is required, understanding is required, application is required. So will be then the process of evaluation is required, then the synthesis, and such that when you clear the whole process of this, then you will be able to implement in a more successful manner that will be able to really contribute towards this direction of implementing a new system or whatever it is. So thank you so much. I think it was a very good session. We had a very good team today, and they were all, each one was contributing to their own, from their own domain. And well, anybody else would like to contribute more? We are opening the forum for another 5 minutes. If anybody would like to contribute, they can contribute definitely. And otherwise, thank you so much. Thank you for being such a wonderful audience. It was yet another episode of G20 International, and very successful week of eighth episode that we have completed. And we are so happy about it. And with all your cooperation, with all your kind support, we are able to come up with each and every week. We are able to come up with one particular topic, such that end of the day, as we always look forward to work. This doesn't stop here. As you know, whatever contribution that you have, please write to us, please email us, or otherwise you can just get in touch with our Dr. Vijayakumar Salviaji. He's always there to guide, or you can become a member of our Kutum app, so that your contributions, your voices, the main thing is your voice should be heard. Whatever you want to say, please write to us so that we will be able to take it forward. We'll be publishing a brochure. So we will try to integrate all your ideas in that, so that even you will have a chance for contributing towards it. And then, like moving ahead, everything will be made into a pattern which will be submitted through Dr. Vijayakumar Salvia to the government, exactly where we are heading to. So thank you so much on that note. Really appreciate all your kindness, really appreciate your patience. Taking your time on a Sunday is not an easy job. So we really, with due respect, would like to extend our sincere thanks to one and all once again. And thanks for being here on our session. So until we meet again next Sunday, same time, 2 o'clock UAE time, 3:30 India time, we have to say goodbye. Thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you so much.